What's going on, guys? I've been working with Merrick Health now for 6 months. I want to tell you guys that if I had somebody like this when I was younger, I would have made better gains and I would have been much healthier along the way. This is a resource that I don't think a lot of guys starting out, whether they're young or older, should let go by the wayside, because this is not something that was always available to us. There's a blood panel here for $120. This is just a blood panel that you can get with 53 different biomarkers that'll tell you what your blood work looks like, but you're going to be reading it by yourself. This is more important. This is the blood panel with the consultation. They're going to look at more biomarkers, they're going to look at all your hormones, and a consultant will sit with you and tell you what it means for you when it comes to optimizing your hormones, but also making sure you're healthy along the way. merrickhealth.com/RBP. Use code RBP for the 10% off on your first order, and keep healthy while you're growing. Mikey, what's up?
What's going on?
Does anybody ever call you Mikey?
Yeah, I think so. They don't live to tell the story, though.
I'm going to call you Mikey from now on. Only when I'm far away from you, though. What are you doing? Are you all right? How are you feeling?
Good, man. Yeah.
I know you're dealing with a friend passing, so I want to see how you're doing. You're holding up okay?
Yeah, I'm good. It's fucking shitty situation, but
How do you deal with
do
how do you deal with things? Do you deal with things like I do? You just kind of sink yourself into your work and kind of try and
No, I mean I deal with it like I let the sadness happen, and I don't really run from it or anything like that. So, but I try to stay busy because I mean, you want to sit around and think about shit forever, you know what I mean? But
I don't think I run from it, but I think I have
no, I
trouble.
mean, I just don't like, I don't like purposely try to avoid it. Like I do try to keep busy.
Yeah.
But I'm busy anyway. So it's like, I just kind of keep doing what I'm doing. But sometimes when you're like, you get those moments when you're like by yourself, you're kind of like, oh, fuck, you know,
Yeah.
kind of shitty.
How, if you don't mind me talking about it, how close were you? You guys trained together for a while, right?
Yeah. We were trained. I was trying to think the other day of how long we actually trained together, but I think it must have been a span of like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Where we were training every day together. Rob was basically my training partner when I was training with Darren.
Yeah.
And so was Jerome at some time. Like we kind of all mixed into it together, but me and Rob were like the main people training together, because like I'm sure you guys can attest, when you find someone who like is at your level of intensity, you kind of want to have them around, especially when you're like prepping for shows and shit and you don't really want to fucking, you're not in the mood, and someone comes in and they make you laugh, or they're fucking busting your balls to work harder. You're like, oh, fuck, this guy's pretty good.
Ian, what's going on? How are you? We're just talking about Mike's friend who just passed, so we're just kind of seeing how he's doing. Yeah, Mike, it's funny when you find a training partner. It's almost like a language. There's like a training partner language that's spoken between two people, and it's like some people don't get it and some people do. And when you find that person, you're like, okay, this person understands my bodybuilding language. We can like train together, and you don't have to like tell anybody anything. You just kind of understand each other. Yeah. Who is that guy for you, Ian? Anybody? Mark?
Probably the most was probably Mark. Yeah. Mark and Julian over my life.
Yeah. Is there anybody now that you would train with? Because you're on a different like kind of training level now.
Yeah, I'm doing such different stuff. Like no, Melissa.
Yeah. What about on the home front, Mike? Is everything okay there?
Yeah, everything's good. I mean, Kat just had her grandfather pass away. You guys sent a really nice flower arrangement, so I appreciate that.
You're welcome, sir.
It's been kind of a weird week. It's like there was a lot of highs, like the Olympia and all of us hanging out and kind of being in that environment, and then kind of get this like weird news like right at the tail end of that, and it's like it's like with all the highs come as many lows, right? So it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Okay, so let's we'll delve into some good news. How is your booth? Because it looked like it looked like it was busy, it was good, like everybody seemed happy. So how was the weekend for you? Like the 3 or 4 days you were there?
It was great. Yeah, it was good. It was kind of cool because a lot of like there's a decent amount of people who came up to the booth that really had no idea who I was.
Yeah.
but they liked they just were drawn to the booth and like drawn to the merch and thought it was cool and whatever. So it's like that was kind of like as much as it was a goal to like meet the people that do support me and all that stuff, it was also a goal to kind of put us out there and show people who we are, because I've never really done anything like that yet. So if we can attract new people and get new people to like see what's going on, it's even cooler, right? So
yeah,
it was good, and having you guys there was fun. It was a good time. I'm really grateful you guys came by.
Yeah, well, you made the
Except
weekend.
for Paul. I don't care about Paul, but you guys were cool.
We won't tell him that. He's not here.
I'll tell him when he gets on here. Just play it cool, man.
I had to see where the fuck he is. Well, it was actually you who made the weekend fucking awesome for me and Iain. Mike has a friend named Tom.
Shout out Tom.
He's
watching. He'll watch.
Shout out Tom, who's a fucking baller. And
fucking Tom.
So before we went, Mike said to me, I got a surprise for you guys. I got some cars for you guys to drive or whatever. And me and Iain kind of thought the same thing. We thought, okay, well, he's going to hook it up for like an hour or something like that.
Yeah, like we'll drive him for like one afternoon, then,
Yeah, we'll get to drive him for an afternoon or a couple hours and we'll have to give him back. So Mike shows up to my Airbnb on Thursday morning. I think he showed up, Mike. And it was the day after I got there. He shows up Thursday morning with his Corvette Z06, which I have a down payment on one for like 2 years, but we just can't get in Canada. So he knew I wanted it. And basically Tom just gave me the keys and he's like, drop it off when you leave. Yeah. I thought he was, hey, Paul, how are you?
Hi, Fouad. Hey, guys.
Hey.
I thought he was joking. So every day we would be done. And like Friday, I messaged Mike and I was like, hey,
when
man,
do we gotta drop these off?
Hey, where should I take the cars? He's like, you just don't worry about it. Just take them out. So Saturday, same thing. I saw Tom. We went to dinner with Tom or lunch or whatever it was. And I was like, Tom, what do I do with the fucking cars, man? He's like, just keep it till you leave. Just drop it off. I'm like, what the fuck? So
they just like bring it back to the hotel and just give the valet the keys when you leave. We're
yeah.
like, okay.
So me and Iain basically had a GT 911 GT3 RS and I had a Z06, and we babied the fuck out of those cars. We didn't drive fast.
Right.
Not when I was in them.
We didn't drive fast at all. And then like we went to
speed limit, no problem.
Speed limit everywhere. No, it was honestly it was like Mike made the fucking weekend. And Tom, thank you, Tom.
Yeah, thank you guys, both of you. That was fucking awesome.
For me, it was an awesome weekend because I got to support Mike at his booth. We got to hang out with you guys, but then it was an added like bonus that we had these 2 fucking supercars.
It was just like the cherry on top of like wherever you go, you had that extra. So it's like it's like we were like doing the fun stuff, but then if we were traveling to like go to the photo shoot or going to dinner, it's like then we got in these and fucking like Yeah. It was just like the little ad like that, like everything you did added that in the middle,
We both got to scare the fuck out of Paul in both cars.
Yeah, you both did. Fuck. I'm used to Fouad's driving.
Not in that car, you're not.
Not in that car, but I have a technique for dealing with Fouad's driving. It helps me cope with it. But Iain, I wasn't prepared for that.
Tell everybody your technique, because it's a horrible technique.
Close your eyes and be relaxed.
No, he looks out the side window.
Relaxed on impact. You'll survive the crash.
I look out the side window the whole time. I don't want to see what's coming. So I usually, and if cars have that, that bar that hangs above the door.
Yeah.
The holy shit handle.
The holy shit handle. I hold on to that and I just stare out the window, and I just hope that it's over soon.
Paul's the car. He's like, for fuck's sake, Iain. He's like, I got fucking kids at home. Please, Iain.
Well, at one point, I had Paul's wife in my car, and Paul and Iain had Paul in his car, and I'm weaving in and out of traffic. And at one point, it literally just dawned on me. I was like, this fucking chick has 2 kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, I better slow the fuck down.
So do I. Yeah.
We can leave both those children without parents instantly, right there.
Yeah, just like that. Yeah.
And I think we came very close to that both a couple times.
Yeah.
The best is when Paul tries to get you to calm down. He doesn't like scream at you. He's like, okay, we can slow down a little bit now.
We're not in a hurry. There's no rush to get there.
It's like a man.
He did that one point we were driving, we were going fucking crazy, and you could tell he's like had enough. And he's like, Iain, he's like, I think I'm done. I look at the GPS, I'm like, 7 more minutes, I'll hold it together.
Yeah. I was like, all right. Took a couple deep breaths. I was like, okay. Just close my eyes again.
But it's such a rational tone. Like when he's scared, he's like, we're gonna get there. Like we don't have to go any faster. Like it's okay.
When I drove that car to your Airbnb, I was with Alora, and I was literally like fucking terrified the whole time.
Really?
Me and you should ride together next time, Mike.
Take this fucking thing. I don't want that motherfucker.
It's completely different when you're in the passenger seat. Like even when Tony was driving the car the night that we drank, I was fucking shitting my pants the whole time.
Yeah.
I was fine. Yeah. I was in the passenger seat because me and Iain were drunk. So we let Alora, the photographer, videographer, and Paul's wife drove the Porsche. I was telling her to go faster. I'm like, fucking let it rip. Like, I don't fucking just go.
Yeah, my wife's a daredevil.
It was fine when she would go in a straight line, but it was like when she'd fucking just put the foot to the floor, like going around corners, back ends, like, I'm like, oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like.
And then when she's driving through fucking 4-way intersections,
Yeah. It was fucking. Yeah,
it was so much fucking fun though. That was so fun. Even though it was terrifying, I was having a great time.
Next time I'm carpooling with Mike.
Well, Laura sent me a video of you that you took of her, and you're telling her like, okay, your foot's on the brake. Now put your foot all the way down on the gas. She's like, I'm not fucking doing that. I'm not fucking doing that.
Wait. Let me see if I can. Let's see here. One sec. Yeah, Mike had a TRX. How'd you like the TRX, Mike?
It was good. I like my truck better, but this is fun to drive.
Why do you like your truck better? You didn't like the speed, or was it too rough, or because
it's like everything's like like it's like it's like you can't just fucking drive. It's like everything's a fucking
race,
like especially in the cars like that when they have like the double clutch, because like it's like a standard clutch but in an automatic car, so like goes in and out, like even that on an automatic car, if you're on a hill with one of those, it'll roll down the hill if you're not on the gas.
Here, wait, let's watch this.
Yeah, Alora fucking losing her mind.
Oh yeah, this is a fucking great video.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah, all right.
Fuck you, Tony. Fuck you, Tony. Fuck you, Tony.
Fuck you, Tony.
Laura getting on
Put your foot on the brake.
No, I'm
He was paying attention to the lights going.
Okay, now put your foot on the other foot on the gas. All the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down.
I'm not.
Put your foot all the way down.
I'm not.
Do it.
I'm not fucking doing it.
Fuck you, Tony.
Right to the red.
Burns the red.
She went through a red light. Go.
Fucking crazy.
I don't know if I'm allowed to show that.
Yeah, she might get she might get some trouble for that.
Yeah.
That was on a closed course.
Yeah. No, but thankfully we had them there to drive us because we had a little too much to drink that night. So it's a good time though. It was a really good time.
I went to the mall. We went to the mall with Mike and my wife and I went to the mall with Mike and Kat.
Yeah.
And that truck didn't have a side step on it, and it's up pretty high.
Yeah.
So and I had to like almost like
All
run
to get
and
out.
jump into the back seat. Yeah. I was like, I couldn't do this every day.
So what else, Mike? Anything else from the weekend that you took from it other than meeting new people and getting the older supporters to cut, or your existing supporters to come see you? Anything else good come from the weekend?
No, I mean it was just great to hang out with you guys and kind of get away, and that was basically it. There was an incident or two that happened that I'm not going to speak about, but
Yeah, we don't have to get into those.
Unless those fucking losers want to bring it up, I won't bring it up. But
Yeah, we'll leave that alone. We'll leave that alone. Anyway, Paul, how was your weekend? You got to meet all your fans?
Yeah, had a good time. It was fun.
You got
my wife came too.
You got millions and millions of fans, eh?
Well, I don't know about millions, but
we're getting
say dozens
swarmed.
maybe. I don't know about millions.
Swarmed everywhere we went.
Yeah. I think it was my wife's first time being at an expo with me, like in the last couple of years, at least since the podcast and that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. She thought, I think it was good for her to, be a part of that. And
Was she impressed? Was she impressed that like, if it's the first time she's been with you in a couple of years, you have a lot more fans now.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So was she impressed to see like the fanfare for Paul?
Yeah, I think she was. So she took a lot of pictures and stuff of it, and she showed me afterwards all the pictures she took of it. Yeah.
Now when you get her in bed, you can be like, you know who I am, right?
Yeah, man, I'm kind of big deal.
Kind of big deal here.
You're gonna have to put out a little bit more. We're gonna have to explore some new territory here. I'm kind of, you have to step it up a little bit. Could use this to my advantage.
Anyway, so after the weekend, Iain, anything before we go on? Anything exciting happened on the weekend that you want to make note of while we were there, other than racing cars and
fucking sick weekend? Yeah, I mean, just being, obviously, I had the added part of being with Chris to win his 5th Olympia.
Well, wait a minute before you go on to that. I mean, it is a big deal actually, because the main question is, how did it feel being there and not competing?
Fucking, I don't want to sound like a fucking like negative Nancy building, but like I had the fucking way better time than any Olympia I've ever had, like from a competitive standpoint, because like you're actually enjoying it's. Oh, there you go. You're actually enjoying the experience. Like every time I was there at the Olympia, I was so like not in the moment of like what was going on, and now when I look back at it, I wish I'd enjoyed those moments more.
Right? See,
but now that I've like kind of taken a foot out of it and like. In hindsight, being like, I wish I enjoyed those more and letting myself enjoy these new moments. It was a very different experience for me. Like, I don't know, like just even meeting fans and stuff, like at the Raw booth or at Mike's booth was fucking super fun. Driving the cars, like, and just, enjoying these experiences without like the worry of the stress of bodybuilding behind me, and like, look, I'm very grateful for what bodybuilding gave to me in those moments where I did, sacrifice these moments to be a better bodybuilder and eat the meals and train and blah, blah, blah. But like now that I'm on the other side of it, I'm kind of like done with that. And I feel like I've got like 15 years to catch up on in terms of like having fun,
Can I say something for a minute? I'm
sorry. It was just a completely different experience for me,
I just want to touch on that for 1 second. So a lot of times when bodybuilders say sacrifice, or like, they'll write sacrifice on their caption or sacrifice on, like, it's one of our mottos, for fuck's sakes. There's inevitably people who are like, oh, you're just bodybuilders, bro. You're not like in the military. Like, what are you talking about? And it's like, we're not talking about that kind of sacrifice, but what you're talking about now is exactly what I mean.
I'm talking about sacrificing my life for like my country, my family. I'm talking about sacrificing all the small things or even big things in life that you need to do because your focus is so on your eating and your training. You don't really have the time or the want to do these other things, This
is what I'm trying to express to people is that sacrifice is more all the little things that people take for granted, like spending time with your friends, going out to lunch, going out to breakfast, like just not being shackled to a fucking kitchen.
I had days when I didn't eat my first meal till midnight and it was IHOP,
Right. So that's
we eat there a lot.
But this is what I'm saying is these small things that people take for granted, they add up after 20 years of bodybuilding. And you realize that you missed out on like.
Yeah, I think someone that's lived their life not as a pro bodybuilder for 15 years might think like, what's the big deal? But when you've had like where you've had to miss so many moments in your life, where it's like at the Olympia weekend where it's Thursday night and you're going to bed at 10 p.m. and you're waking up to do this and you're getting your tan at 5 a.m. and you're eating all your meals on schedule. Yeah. And like there's other people that want to go do fun stuff. Like, at the time you don't miss it. You don't be like, oh, I wish I was doing that because you have a goal.
Right.
But then when you're on the other side of it, you're like, fuck, I wish I had enjoyed those moments more and like, been more present even in the bodybuilding side of it. So now that I'm on the other side, I'm making sure to like really soak in these fucking moments,
It's funny when you say you say this now because it's something you don't realize until you retire, because you
literally don't. You can't realize it until you retire.
There are numerous times since I've retired where people have talked to me that are doing the Olympia or doing a show, like one of their biggest shows. And I'm like, it feels so stupid coming from me because I'm like, it sounds so fluffy, but I'm like, just be as present as you can be because your career is going to be over before you know it.
You're going to be like, I wish I did.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, now you're experiencing what I've been talking about.
It's completely different looking back at it and feeling life on the other side. Like, how you're. Yeah, no, it's true. But you know, like when you look back on it, like you wish you enjoyed those moments more, but then it also gives you kind of like a peace of mind that you're like, I'm going to take advantage of these moments after bodybuilding and make sure I'm really present and enjoy them, you know?
Right.
So it's kind of a bonus in a way, because I'm like, I feel like I'm a little more attuned to it, to enjoying these moments now, because I had 15 years of sacrificing those moments beforehand, you know?
Right. So you enjoyed being unshackled for a weekend.
Yeah.
The Olympia weekend, being there for Chris, being there with your friends.
I mean, just to like, you know, be there at the expo and just like enjoy those moments with not like the thing in the back of your head of bodybuilding, watching the show, hang out with you guys and at Mike's booth, at Raw's booth, the times we had like eating dinner, driving the cars, like, or going to the gym, whatever it was. It's just like a completely different thing when you're like just there for the moments, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And
cool.
yeah, like I said, it was also cool just to see Chris and Hani kind of like do their process and, you know, be a fly on the wall and give any little bits of input that I could give, you know, was fun to kind of like reminisce on that a little bit, you know. It was a cool experience for me. Yeah.
Go ahead, Paul. You're going to say something?
You know, a couple of my favorite moments, like it was more like the smaller moments of the weekend, like Friday night when we were all at IHOP at like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning with Hassan. Bob Chick is there, you know, like that was fun. You mean
when you got a random fan that you don't know to drop off drug? No, sorry.
Yeah, that happened too. Yeah.
That was fun. And I was trying to teach you guys my roll up the fucking pancake.
Oh, your pancake method. Yeah.
That's a very Arab thing of you. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Just roll and dip.
Roll it up and dip it in the syrup, man. That's the fucking
everything's dippable. Everything's dippable to you guys. And breakfast too, before we all left on or on Sunday morning. Like that was awesome.
IHOP again.
Yeah. Like I just like that. Those are my favorite moments of the weekend. You know, when we all get together and sit down as a group and get to talk a little bit.
That's interesting. Okay, that's your favorite moment, is the IHOP moments?
So 2 of them, yeah.
And coffee crisps.
That's what I would is. He adds an extra P on the end of those.
No, I don't. It's an X.
You don't realize it, but you do.
It's just an S.
No, you go
crisps.
I think coffee crisps.
See, you guys just did it again.
S.
No, there was 2 P's.
It's one
there.
S.
Yeah, but no, but you do 2 P's.
No, but it's one P. It's just putting an S on the end.
It sounds like a P. You go like.
Iain, you're still muted. Iain, say coffee crisps.
Sorry, Melissa was using the blender. It's coffee crisp.
No, but say with an S.
See, Iain says it properly.
You never add a second S ever.
Say it
because it's already plural.
Already plural. It's not cross.
Say it anyway.
What if you had multiple coffee crisp though?
And it's just coffee crisp. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the word's already plural.
No, yes. If I have 2 coffee crisp, those are coffee crisps.
Never say coffee crisp.
You can't say it without putting a P on the end.
No, you wouldn't. That sounds ridiculous.
Ask Melissa to say coffee crisps.
Coffee crisps.
Ask her to say it.
She's saying it. It sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't hear her. One sec. Everybody quiet.
Do you want some coffee crisps?
See? She did it. There's 2 P's on there.
There's only 1 P.
I know there's supposed to be just 1 P, but everyone says it with 2.
Anyways, Mike, your favorite 2 moments of the weekend, or favorite moment?
Giving you the car. That was a pretty good moment. And then probably giving Iain the car.
Iain?
Man, it's so hard to pick 2. Can I pick 3?
Go ahead.
No.
No.
You don't have to.
You got to narrow it down, Iain.
Definitely the time, like out of all the moments we drove the cars, the one going when you were with Samson, I guess, and I was with Paul, and we were driving to the gym.
Yeah.
Like that was probably the hardest we drove, and that was definitely the most fun of all the times we drove.
It's funny to make my list.
Didn't make Paul's list.
It's not even near the top of my list.
No. Was it even in the ranking?
It's really cool, honestly, like being at Mike's booth, and like you're meeting like how many people it's so cool. You know, whether it's there for the podcast or for his brand or like whatever it is, and just like people that come up You know, and like seeing fucking shit like Paul, like with fans is fucking awesome. Like a lineup of people for Paul there is like the most awesome thing ever. You know?
I don't know if it was a lineup. There was a few people.
You're being whatever the word is, humble, modest.
It wasn't just for me. I'm sure that most of them were there for you guys.
No.
And anyway,
No, people were asking me the day before. They're like, "Is Paul here?" And I'm like,
"Yeah."
And I didn't know what time he got in. I'm like, "He'll be here later."
Even when I was at the Raw booth, I was there, and they were asking me when Paul and Fouad were going to be around.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
I must have had 100 people that came out to me at the Raw booth to take pictures of me, and they're like, and they'd already been to Mike's booth.
Yeah.
And they're like, Mike said that Paul, do you know when Fouad and Paul are going to be here? We'll take pictures with all the podcast guys. I'm like, I think they're going to come.
I think we're all just synonymous with each other now. So people are like always going to associate us. So what was the third one?
I can narrow it down. Well, and then obviously Chris, like, you know, I think it wasn't even seeing him win because, to be honest, I knew he was going to win. Like, I was 99.999% confident even before the show happened that he was going to win. So it's not even like seeing him win.
Yeah.
It was more just like, I don't know, just being part of that in a different capacity than I'd ever been in.
Yeah.
You know, being there as a fan for once where I wasn't competing, you know, that was the first time ever where I haven't been coaching him or competing. Because even last year when I wasn't coaching him, I was still competing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just like getting to actually watch him on stage, which I hadn't in a long time, and be backstage with him and kind of seeing him and Hani kind of like do their process and, you know, any input that I could give in terms of like experience I had with him. You know, it was just a very different capacity that I'd been there in that for him before, you know? So that was obviously very cool for me.
Yeah. I think for me, one was being at Mike's booth. I think, it was cool for the four of us to be able to do something together, like live, because we haven't really.
Yeah.
And I've never been in that position because I'm always usually at my booth.
Yeah.
So it was cool to be there. It was cool to be there for someone else. And I was, you know, wearing Mike's gear and fucking, you know, just being there for someone else. Felt good.
Cool booth,
you know?
too.
And
cool
writing Iain as a homo on the back of somebody's
shirt.
I did it first though.
Yeah.
You were just copying me.
I didn't want to ruin anybody's shirt. But when you ruined it, I was like, I guess I can ruin it too.
I thought one of you guys gonna draw a big shaft on there.
No, but no, being at Mike's booth was fun. It had a, you know, because like our wives are there and
it just had like a cool hangout feel.
It had a family feel.
Yeah, like a family,
you know,
just like come meet the boys feel, you know?
Yeah. And all the people at your booth, Mike, were super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That was really cool. And then I think any of the times we went to eat would be my second favorite. Not just because I'm a slob and I like to eat, but like it was cool to getting to know Tom and like it's just a lot of laughs sitting around watching Mike eat like a stack of pancakes. Like he just mashes it all in like little pieces and then like drizzles fucking syrup. It's gross. Like watching him eat pancakes is gross. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not gross. I'm just saying I've never seen anybody like chop up all their pancakes into like little bits and then like just it's like what a fat kid would do. It's great.
It's very efficient.
Oh.
And then I think number 3 would be I enjoyed Friday night. We had really, really good seats for prejudging.
Us, right?
And I thought we were all, you know, it was cool. Mike couldn't make it to prejudge because he was busy doing booth stuff, but it was cool that like the three of us at least got to sit together with Hassan and Julian and like talk bodybuilding, like and be sitting like right there. We were
fourth row.
We were in front of the judges. Like
we were in front of the judges.
Yeah. So I thought that was a really cool moment. And then I'm going to add one more moment, just driving the car, period. I did not, the smile did not leave my face. Every time I got in that car, I had a fucking perma grin.
It was fucking awesome.
Until I got out of the car. It was like, it just incredible. So anyway, so thank you, Tom. Thank you, Mike.
Did you see the video I put on my Instagram in the car? Someone, obviously, because I posted that I had the car on my Instagram for the weekend on my story. I don't know where they saw me or how they even caught the video and knew I was behind them. But there's a video of someone.
I saw that.
Yeah. There's someone in their truck, and it's just like them looking out the window, and it's like, boom, by the mouth. It's like 2:30 in the morning, and I'm driving back from when we went out at 8.
Oh yeah, you got to drive back to Kissimmee.
I'm driving out to Kissimmee back to my Airbnb, and they somehow saw, and they're just like, it's just me like on the dead road, just like right by them. They tag me in the coolest bodybuilder, you know? Bodybuilder.
Fucking great weekend. So
Yeah.
okay, on to actual bodybuilding news. So let's pull up the fucking standings.
I fucking mutilated you guys.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
I got 100% perfect.
Yeah, you killed it.
such an asshole.
Thank you.
All
Who was
right,
last?
Derek, we're gonna remove Nick because he could obviously didn't make it.
Oh no, I got Tonio and Regan backwards. Oh,
So here,
I thought I had them all in the right order, but I'm still pretty close.
Hottie, Samson, Brandon, Andrew, Crizzo, Hunter. Hunter beat Crizzo, didn't he?
Hunter was 6,
Oh,
yeah.
you're right. He did. Yeah. Damn. Okay.
And then Regan and Tonio. Tonio beat Regan.
Yeah. So I got those two wrong.
Okay.
0,
Andrew.
1.
I know, I'm not fucking stupid. Relax. Can you guess who you would have put in 10th? Like, can you, without cheating, like, do you think you would have put, would you have put in 10th?
Well, I would say Charles, but then I sound like I'm cheating, so I don't want to say that.
No, because I actually put Charles in 10th.
Yeah.
So like, it's not out of
Did
the
you?
question. Oh no, I didn't. I moved him.
No, you didn't.
I think no. I know what happened. After Nick was out, I said Charles is 10th, but we never went back and
We
did
didn't
it.
do it.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
Abdullah has to be last.
Yeah, Abdullah's got to get a hostile tattoo.
Yeah.
So bad.
Okay, let me move these up. Oops,
Wait, who's top right there?
that's Paul.
Oh, I think Paul did pretty good.
I did pretty good, but I had Samson and Derek swapped.
Yeah, but that's pull Nick out first.
Wait, one second.
Oh no, he had Andrew Brandon flopped. Okay, so yeah, I still did win.
So
Hottie.
Hottie was second.
Did Brandon end up beating Andrew? I can't remember now. Was it Brandon 4th?
Yeah.
And I had Crizzle beating Hunter. I must have did that last second. That was a mistake.
Tony
So
was
this,
eighth.
Oh no,
this
wait.
doesn't.
No, that's right. Tony was 8th.
Yeah, I know, but Regan was ahead of him.
No,
Regan beat Tonio.
no.
Oh, he
Tony
didn't?
was 8th. Regan was 9th. Charles was
Oh,
10th.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Mike.
1.
Wait, let me get rid of this.
I stand by my picks. I still think they're good.
Yeah.
I'm with the Hottie crew. I think he got robbed.
I mean,
Wait,
Mike did pretty good too at the bottom end here.
Yeah. I got fucking hosed here.
Oh, Mike, you beat me.
Right.
Fuck, I better not be last.
You're definitely not last. Abdullah's last if he's in this.
Yeah, but out of our
I
bet.
think that's 4.
Is Abdullah in our bet?
No, probably not.
2, 4.
Do I get to use Griffin?
Me and Fouad tied.
No, no one gets
No,
to use,
no.
no one gets to use anybody.
Oh, you don't get to use
If
them.
you do, we all just use Griffin. We all just get a 0. Yeah.
Yeah, me and you tied Fouad.
One, two, three.
Why is your
four,
score say
five.
1284? That can't be right.
Of course, it's not right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8.
Yeah, I got 8 too.
I get 6.
Mike's got 6 and Ian's got
2,
4.
6, 4.
So I guess that's it. It's a split.
Well, I
No
guess
one's got to do anything.
I guess
No,
no
you
one.
both
No,
last.
it's
You
a,
both
it's a
had to do
wash.
it.
It's a
No
wash.
no
All
one
right,
does
on to the
anything
next
yet.
one.
We're good. Okay,
On to
we're
next
good.
week.
All right, what's
Erase
the
that
next? What's the
spreadsheet.
next
Next
bet?
week.
Erase
Let's
that
get next
spreadsheet.
week's. Let's get next week's list up, Fouad.
Out of the other guys, did anyone do better than
I
anyone?
don't know,
Do better
I'm
than
going down to here. Let's get rid of Nick. Samson 2, Derek 1, Audie 1, Brandon, Hunter 2,
No, Hunter was 6.
Oh, 1. Yeah.
Oh, 1. Okay. 1. That's right, right? 0,
0, 0.
7, yeah.
0,
Yeah.
0.
So what's that? 6.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So he died with Mike.
No, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
He's just 5, isn't he?
No, 2, 3, 4.
Oh yeah, I didn't see the other one.
Abdullah, Brandon, three places off. 1 place off. 2 places off. 1 place off. 3 places off. Let's get rid of this. Let's slide these up.
Well, he's
That's
right.
Right.
Well, you got to give him a pass.
I got to give him a pass on that. So we'll give him a 0 there.
And he got
And
regular.
a 0. So we got 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. Abdullah, you got to get a tattoo.
You gotta shave your head, Abdullah.
Yeah, right. You got to give us your watch.
Sorry, you weren't here when we made the rules.
Yeah. We said the losers got to give whatever their best watch is. That's what we said.
He's giving the watch to me. I won.
Yeah. Well, I don't care as long as I don't get in trouble. What was the bet now? What do we have to do?
Good question.
It was like or something.
What do we have to do, Paul?
I think it was just bragging rights. I don't think that we did it. We decided on it.
Pat on the back. Just pat on the back.
One of our fans, go back and see what the bet was. We'll have to implement it.
Well,
I think you were supposed to shave your beard.
Well, what do I win? Like, what do you, I know you guys are getting,
buy some shoes, Ian. We'll buy some shoes again.
Yeah, we'll buy some shoes. Buy
Yeah.
some track spikes.
Yeah.
I don't want more shoes.
Shirt.
Dude, I helped this guy fucking move. I've never seen so many shoes in my life.
Yeah, you told me. I heard.
It's like
I didn't know you're such a shoe guy, Ian.
Well, they were all down floor. I filled the entire bed of my truck just in shoes.
It's such a
That's
waste.
crazy. Oh
like
my God.
the ultimate waste of money. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
You're a big shoe guy too, aren't you, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he said the bed of his truck, I was like, I think I could do that.
Mm.
Can plus that.
My brother-in-law is like that. He's a shoe collector too.
They asked us the value of what we were bringing over.
I
So listen. So I'm driving.
panicked. Okay.
Oh, you totally panicked. So I'm driving back, and the lady was just horrible. The lady in the booth, just
Tell him, Fouad.
the fucking worst. Tell them what? That everybody knew you?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody.
You're
not
cool.
you know,
Yeah,
you know,
cool. You
you
worked
know,
there.
Yeah. Not at that border.
You know what, Paul? The more popular you get, the less humility you're showing. Anyway, so the lady in the booth was fucking horrible. Anyway, she goes, "Do you have a manifest of what you're bringing over?" We're like, "No, we didn't know we had to like have a fucking manifest of like all his goods that he accumulated over the fucking 2 years he lived there." So she's like, "Well, can you give me a total of what like the cost of all the goods is?" And I'm thinking, all right, there's some shoes back there and some clothes and like $5,000. She's like, okay, $5,000. So we go in, whatever. After everything's done and they've searched the car and all this shit, Ian's like, I think I have like one pair of shoes back there that's worth $5,000. He's like, there's probably like $100,000 worth of shoes in the trunk. I'm like, what the fuck?
I at least a couple pairs of shoes in there that are like $2,000 to $4,000. You know,
Like
What kind of shoes are worth
kind
$2,000
of
to $4,000?
That's what I was just gonna ask. What the fuck
Well,
is
I have like original Chicago ones in there that are like
Mm.
they're pretty expensive. I have a
But
couple.
if you had to put the retail value, you could put 180 or 200.
Right. That's
No,
just because like you could sell those at like an auction or
the
something like that for that kind of money.
That's
Yeah.
resale. That's resale.
Okay,
That's not
okay.
original price.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean,
That's
if I
fucking
had
insane.
to, if I had to justify it, I could probably justify it. You know,
Hey, he can articulate anything.
So anyway,
they're $100 a piece. There's a fucking 100 pairs. Oh, but even then, we're fucking, you know,
so Sunday. So before we
we're still double what we quoted. Yep.
Before we get back into the show, we left out the best part. So Sunday morning, Ian's like, I got to bring my stuff back from Florida. So I'm like, I'll help you move. As you guys probably heard on the podcast. So I get in the car with him. We drive south first to Stewart. He packed
2 hours south.
2 hours south. And I'm hungover from the night before. So we're driving the 2 hours and I'm falling asleep. And I'm like, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to make this drive. Because we're supposed to drive from Stewart all the way to fucking Toronto.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, this is going to be
I have
brutal.
to say though, it was your idea to do it in one go. I was prepared to do like 12 hours sleep in 12 hours.
I got to tell you, I was regretting saying I would do it for the first 2 hours. I was like, this is fucking, because I was so hungover. I was like, I don't want to be in this car right now. So I have a couple coffees. I start to wake up. I'm like, okay, this isn't so bad. We're having a good time, whatever. So we get there, we pack up all his shit. And then now we have a fucking 20-hour drive to Toronto.
22, yeah.
And I'm like, we're going to go straight through. So I'm fucking cruising. We're doing energy drinks. We're doing coffee. I'm smoking like a cigarette every 6 minutes. Like we're just
good pace you got going there.
like it would take me about 6 minutes to finish one. I just light up another one. So I'm good. Like 10 hours. I'm in. I'm doing all the driving.
He went 9 straight right off the hop. Yeah.
10. It was 10 straight. I
Christ.
know.
Fouad loves
I
driving.
know because I timed. So I'm like, I'm going to do this whole fucking thing by myself.
Yeah, you probably could.
And then 10 hours hit and I
But
hit
hey,
a wall.
I stayed awake with you that whole time. I didn't sleep.
I was annoyed. I wanted you to sleep because I'm like, why are we both staying awake? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I was good. I stayed awake with you.
I've done a lot of road trips with Fouad. He's never once let me drive. He doesn't care how tired he is. He'll keep going.
No, he eventually got to a point where I had to drive.
Really?
we got to 10 hours and I'm like, okay, this is getting dangerous. So I pull over. I'm like, you take it for a bit. So
Yeah, but at this point, it's fucking like it's midnight. You know.
Yeah, it was like I think it was 1 or 2 in the morning. Anyway,
What time did you guys hit the road?
1:30, 2:30,
2:30, 2 o'clock. Yeah,
2:30. Yeah.
2:30.
So he takes over around the 10-hour mark. We drive for like a couple hours. I pass out, like I'm out cold.
He's out snoring, fucking just
I wake up.
Sleep apnea.
Yeah, oh yeah. I wake up.
And I had the music the whole time we were driving, whether I was sleeping or he was sleeping. The music was so loud that you couldn't even speak.
Really?
It was like on like say my stereo goes to 30, we had it like 22 the whole time. You know.
Yeah. Hey, you gotta stay awake.
I wake up. I'm freezing. Ian's got the fucking air conditioning cranked so he can stay awake. I'm like,
I'm just
okay.
there. It's 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. By the time he wakes up, I've drank like 7 energy drinks straight. I have the windows cracked. I have like 4 Zins in my mouth. I have the air conditioning on full blast. He's like, "You good?" I'm like, "I'm good." Yep.
So I'm like, so he pulls over to get gas. I'm like, okay, let's switch again. I'm like, I had a couple hours. I'm good. Fucking horrible idea. So first of all, we're in like the Appalachian Mountains. So like the whole fucking highway is just this. It's just going like this, up and down and curve.
And you're towing a trailer, right?
Which would have been beautiful during the day, and if we weren't towing a trailer.
Yeah.
But we're towing a trailer, and it's the middle of the night. I'm still falling asleep.
And there's fucking deer everywhere.
I'm like, what the fuck? So I only drove for like an hour, and I pulled back over. I'm like, Ian, I'm gonna fucking crash. Like you gotta. So he picks it back up for another hour and a half or so.
But I slept for that hour.
Yeah,
Okay.
he crashed. So then he picked it up for another hour and a half, and then there was about 4 hours left, and I'm like, okay, I'll finish the trip now. So I finished the last 4 hours off, but we must have drank. I think we tallied it up. I think we had about.
And then we got to Toronto, and then you had to drive 3 hours. I had to drive another 4.5 by ourselves.
It was for me. It was literally 24 hours of driving.
Yeah,
and I think it was probably 26 for you.
Yeah.
But we tallied it up, and I think we had like 3 grams of caffeine each.
Yeah, because you had like 12 energy drinks plus like 3 or 4 coffees, and I think I had like 15 or 16 energy drinks and 1 coffee.
My God.
Damn.
And I had like five
And
packs
these,
of
are, and
cigarettes.
these are American energy drinks where they can put
Yeah.
like 280, 300 milligrams, not like the Canadians with like 150.
And all
Good
we ate,
stuff.
all we ate the whole way was jerky.
Yeah, no carbs, eh? No carbs at all.
That's actually
beef
that's
jerky.
actually that's actually what made me fall asleep the first time. I had a turkey sandwich.
Oh, the bread, eh?
Yeah, you had that sandwich, yeah.
The
Yeah.
bread must have put me out. As soon as I ate
Yeah.
that turkey sandwich, like 20 minutes later, I'm like, I gotta go to sleep.
Yeah, go protein and fats. Just
Yeah,
protein
yeah.
and fats.
Yeah. Anyway, we made it. I was pretty worried about him the last fucking 4
It's
hours.
crazy because that last 4 hours, I felt like 100%.
Dude, I was
Did you
fucked.
guys-
My vision was like I was starting to get like really like
Blurry.
foggy.
Yeah.
Like a weird kind of like gas spill ring around my vision, you know.
Yeah.
But my
Yeah.
energy, like I felt great. I like had EDM fucking cranked. I was like going. I was hard. Yeah.
Did you guys have a hard time like getting to sleep at night?
No. I
No.
stayed up. I tried to stay up till normal time, and then I went to bed. But then, like, I literally like sat in bed and I'm like out. You know.
Really?
I couldn't, man. I Uber Eats some food at like 4 p.m.
I got McDonald's. Yeah.
I got Taco Bell. I ate it, and I literally like as soon as I ate it, like half hour later, I was like, just
Really?
fucking out cold,
Out.
man.
Yeah.
I
You
woke
guys both
up.
starting to feel better now?
I woke up at 11. I had a couple more bites of something, and then I passed out till the morning.
It's weird because today was the first day. I actually felt fine yesterday. Today I felt really tired.
Really?
I didn't feel fine yesterday either. I needed like 2 days. Like I
That was
fucked
weird.
up.
Like I didn't feel bad, like too bad yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
and then today I woke up, slept a good night. I woke up and then I just slept on the couch for another like 4 hours.
That's why when you guys want to do the podcast last night, I'm like, I'm fucking just too tired for this. Like I can't.
I was kind of glad you didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was exhausted still, man. It was like even today, like most of like the first half of today, still wasn't like totally back to normal.
And like
I
we've been
think it's just.
like,
I
we had
think
to unpack that whole trailer too. So it's like we've been fucking unpacking boxes the last 2 days.
I don't think it's like just being up all night, but I literally think it's all the caffeine. I didn't drink that much water. I think my body was just like needed to reset.
No
So,
food, lots of caffeine, no
Mhm.
water.
Well, I didn't get any sleep the night. Like I remember I had an early flight in the morning, my wife and I. So, and I was worried that you guys were going to come and fuck with me when you guys, because I went to bed and I
Right.
wanted to try to get some sleep.
Right. He tried to go into your bedroom, but your
I
door.
locked the door. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you guys were going to try and break it in though or
Oh,
anything.
I forgot
So
I tried to go in there.
Yeah, I figured you would have
Tried to
tried.
go in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony said she thought she heard someone jiggling the door.
I was
But yeah, I was something like one eye open as I thought you guys were gonna fuck with me.
Anyway, okay, back to the show. More importantly, let's break down what you saw. Everybody take a turn. Paul, I'll let you go first because you're the judge.
Okay.
Just give me an overview of the top three and what you thought, if they got it right, if they thought something should have been changed,
Okay.
and why.
Derek was freaking shredded.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen glutes that hard before up close. Like he was skinless, man. Like there wasn't an ounce of water anywhere in that body. He you know, you got to give your hats off to Derek. He did what he needed to do to win. I thought Hottie was good. I think that the day two Hottie was better than day one Hottie, I thought. For whatever reason, he was a little sharper day two, I thought. You know, I was biased going into it. I wanted Samson to win, you know, and I love it's not just because, you know, HOSSTILE and I'm friends with Samson, but because I love Samson's physique. If I, you know, were to choose among those three, Samson's my favorite look of the three. So my opinion was very biased going into it. You know, I was kind of like trying to find reasons to convince myself that Samson should win as I was watching prejudge and finals even. Because I, you know, I was just trying to pulling for him. But to be honest, you know, I think Samson still needs to get a little bit harder from the back, show a little bit more detail from the back. You know, maybe a little bit more thickness through the back and chest, and then I think he'll be unstoppable.
Well,
but,
chest is probably the best on stage.
Yeah, sorry, I just meant like just from the side in general. Like Samson's massive, but like I just don't like, you know, just a little bit more mass in the, you know,
the
just
back
through,
area.
yeah. I think he'll be unstoppable. You know, and I just want Samson to win so bad. So anyway, I do think they got it right though, to be honest with you. Like I thought Derek was the best on stage out of that three. You know, like Derek has his flaws, no doubt, you know, like some people don't like his look in certain poses, you know, myself included. I don't like the way he does some of his poses with the toes, you know, pointed so far out on his abdominals and quads, and for one example. But I do think that he bought the best package on both days.
Yeah. Iain, before I come to you, Mike, you missed prejudge on Friday because of booth stuff, but you were there on Saturday. I know you were sitting a little further back, but you thought Samson had the show won.
When I
first
saw him come out, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And like that posing routine was that was probably one of my favorite posing routines I've seen. Easily. That was a fucking awesome posing routine.
So what did you think? What did you think as you kept watching?
I just like I didn't see prejudging, and I didn't even look at pictures of prejudging, to be very honest with you, because I was just doing other shit. But like that night when when those three guys got on stage together, my eye went to Hottie.
Yeah.
Like from what I like that physique jumps out at me for so many more reasons than like just dry glutes. Like you don't see like, yes, Derek has like obviously muscle like crazy. Samson's a massive individual, but you don't see that densely packed muscle on a frame that Hottie has. That like I just don't like. I appreciate that, and that's what I like to see visually, shape wise, and aesthetic wise. Samson is exactly what I think Mr. Olympia should look like.
Yeah.
But if Samson can get the packedness and like packed dry muscle like Hottie has, we're looking at the next Ronnie. We're beating Ronnie Coleman's record. We're beating everyone's record.
So can I ask you guys both a question before I go to Iain? So you guys both think the judging. So wait, so Paul, you think the judging is right. Mike, do you think the judging was right, but you had a different opinion, or do you think the judging should have gone a different way?
If I was a judge, I would have put Hottie first.
Okay.
Just because I like Derek and I like that freaky muscle and like whatever. I just like his back is something to be really admired, but it's like I just don't see every pose as being a dominating pose for him.
I agree.
So it's like you can't have like the back is dominating, but it's not dominating enough to like overtake a show.
Right.
I don't think, especially next to Hottie. Like, so it's like if you're giving him the back and you're like and you're trying to make this thing like, oh, the back is like the differentiator, it's like I don't really see that. And I can see why Hottie was. I don't agree with Hottie walking off stage just because I think it's really gonna fuck with him later on.
Yeah.
But I can see why he was fucking mad.
Yeah.
Like I would have been mad too.
Iain, how did you see the top three? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, initially when I watched it at prejudge, I did have Derek winning. Mostly for the reason Derek was very dominant from the back. I think I do agree with the sentiment in that I don't like the idea of a Mr. Olympia having some kind of no, like his abs and thighs, he doesn't have an ab and thigh. Like, he's just doing a vacuum on it because when he crunches down, there's really nothing going on there. There's some shots that he's kind of hiding and shying away from. His most muscular is a very weak pose. His abs and thighs, not a great shot. But he's extremely good in the back. And I think I'm prejudging because Hottie was definitely not as sharp as last year and Derek was much improved. I saw it as the edge towards Derek. But I actually, in prejudge, wouldn't have even been upset if they had Hottie in third and Samson in second. At finals, when I was watching it from the seats that we had, and Hottie, I thought, came back a little better. Derek was about the same. I did see Hottie moving up. He had a little more pop from the front for me. His conditioning and his glutes was a little drier. I think he closed the gap in the back shots. He was definitely winning the front shots. It was really close. I mean, they all had their things. From how I was looking at it, Derek had some poses that were extremely dominant, but he also had some poses that were like not great at all. Where Hottie, I think, was like kind of more well-rounded, and he really has no weak shots. Even though he has weaker shots, he doesn't have any weak shots. Same with Samson. Samson has weaker poses, but he has no weak poses.
Right.
And look, I think Derek is a deserving winner. I don't think they made a bad call in any means. I think it was kind of a flip of a coin between really any of those three guys. That must have been a tough one to judge for sure. And if you look at the scorecards, it was kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Like it was 7-9 to 13. So like even Samson must have got some first or second place votes. Derek and Hottie split points there. Like there was not, everyone wasn't agreeing on this, who was winning the show. So
right.
It's a tough call. But I think Derek was much improved from last year. He was extremely dominant from the back. But yeah, I just think I always look at it with the Mr. Olympia, and we did discuss this, being the guy that has the least weaknesses, and Hottie, I definitely think, has the least weaknesses. He has excellent conditioning still, even if from the back he isn't as hard as Derek. He's actually harder from the front considerably, and equally hard from the side. It's just not from the back. His pop and muscularity from the front is definitely the best of all three of those guys. So I would have given, if I was judging the show, I probably would have to have Hottie winning in a split score, maybe losing in prejudging by a little bit and then winning in finals. But it was definitely close. But yeah, if I had to pick just from what I saw, I would have given the nod to Hottie.
So, okay. So my opinion on it is I can see why they picked what they picked.
Yes.
But I kind of agree with Mike and Iain that I think Hottie should have won it, only because there's one glaring thing I don't hear a lot of people talking about with Derek, and there's a severe imbalance between his lower body and upper body. Like his quads do not, like when he pulls a front double, like if you take the lineup here, maybe I'll just bring it up. If you take the lineup and you step back from it and take a look, you can see that his lower body does not match the upper body. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I would have had Hottie winning. I know his conditioning wasn't as good on Friday night, but like, look at this picture. When you look at this picture, you see Hottie's legs. They're completely balanced with the upper body. And you see Derek's legs, they look like they're undersized compared to the upper body. Same thing with Samson. The legs match, right? And I'm not saying that should mean that either one of these guys should have beat Derek. I just don't, I feel like, okay, he had a great back shot, amazing condition from the back. His condition from the front wasn't actually like lights out or nothing. The separation in his quads wasn't like nearly as deep as the separation in his
chest is definitely lacking.
Chest and shoulders, arms.
Chest, shoulders, arms, yeah.
Chest, shoulders, arms lack a lot of detail.
Like I said, when his abs, when you have to flex them, he can't really do those shots, you know?
So this is why, so just to give you guys a summary as to why I picked Hottie. If you go conditioning, you're going, Derek is more conditioned from the back than Hottie. Hottie's more conditioned from the front. So they split, that's a wash. They split that. So now I'm looking at shape and muscularity. Well, in my opinion, Hottie wins both those things.
Yeah.
He's got better shape, he's more balanced, and he's got more dense, hard muscle.
Yeah.
You got a fucking ab ball.
Yeah. So I'm
an
like,
ab ball.
yeah. So I'm like,
Literally,
I just didn't see it. The only thing I could make sense of is his conditioning wasn't as good on Friday as it was on Saturday, and it wasn't enough to make up the ground that Derek had from Friday night.
That's what I think it came down to.
But his conditioning from the front was a lot better than Derek's on Friday.
I gotta disagree a little bit with that, Fouad. I thought Derek was very conditioned from the front. I just don't think his muscles as mature from the front, so it doesn't have as much detail to it yet.
Yeah, but whether it's because of maturity or because of fat loss, it's still the same outcome.
There's less detail for sure, regardless.
There's less detail.
Yeah,
compared to when you're looking at
Derek's
Hottie.
quads. Derek's quads had some like pretty freaky feathering going on in his inner separations.
Like Derek doesn't have this. Like, see, his chest is striated.
He doesn't have chest for sure.
The stomach is dry as fuck. Like his quads are stripped out. Like Derek doesn't have that.
I agree that he doesn't have the same level of detail and maturity for sure.
Look at this maturity in the front here.
Oh, it's incredible. I know.
Right. So what I'm saying to you is, if Hottie wins the front condition or detail, whatever you want to call it, and Derek wins the back condition, okay, cool. But if Hottie has more muscle and has a better balanced physique, what is Derek winning on other than the fact that he can pull a vacuum?
Well, Hottie has more muscle, but like how much more muscle? Like, is that enough to offset?
A considerable amount, especially when one guy's is lagging in the leg development.
I don't think he necessarily has more muscle. I think it's just a different look to the muscle.
It's distributed differently, I think.
Well, it looks more densely packed, as Mike was saying.
And I think that's maturity a little bit with Hottie.
But it doesn't. But that's not an excuse.
It's still detail for sure.
It's still muscularity, regardless of why.
Yep.
Right. So it's like I can't. I'm not saying the judges got it wrong, and all congratulations to Derek. I'm literally not saying anything negative. I'm just if we're trying to pick apart what happened, that was just my version of what happened.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not a 20-year judge, so I don't fucking maybe I don't. But that's just kind of how I saw it.
And even though I'm a judge, it's still subjective. You know, it's everyone has their opinion on it, and you know, and like I may not, you know, just because I believe that doesn't mean that you should believe that.
The only thing I can say, Paul, is remember we talk about levels of how much.
Yeah, exactly.
Derek's conditioning from the front didn't lag behind Hottie's condition from the back as much.
Like you're saying,
like Derek's condition from the back was far greater than Hottie's on Friday night. And Hottie's condition from the front is better than Derek's, but not like light years ahead.
Right. So we're talking like 10-8, 10-9 rounds again, kind of, so to speak.
Maybe that's why. Yeah.
But I think you can make a very, very strong argument for either one of those guys to have won. And, I think it comes down to just perspective, and individual,
I could also see being a judge, and when you have someone like Hottie, who was so impressive, and he was very impressive last year, when he's coming back to defend his title, and I don't think he was quite as good as last year. That's obviously going to have an effect on my opinion towards him.
Well, he wasn't as good as last year on Friday. I think he was Saturday. I was really impressed with him Saturday night.
He still wasn't quite as sharp from behind as last year, but he was much closer. But Friday, he wasn't as sharp. And it was
Friday, sorry to cut you off, but Friday night at backstage, and remember Friday night when we went backstage, and one of the judges did say to us that he thought that Hottie was off from last year. And so that was
but he was on
but
Friday night. That's admitted.
He was, for sure.
I thought on Saturday night he was just as good, if not better than last
I
year.
agree. Saturday night he made.
I wasn't overly impressed with him last year. Saturday night, what I saw, I was like, he's peeled everywhere. Like
he looked way more impressive.
Hani brought him back on Saturday, totally different.
Yep.
But I don't.
Yeah.
So anyway, so before we skip to the rest of the guys, there's been a lot of bullshit talk about Hottie leaving the stage. I personally didn't think it was that big a deal. Am I way off on this?
Well, Fouad, we had those VIP tickets for the final. So you and I were sitting up real close there for the finals. Yeah. And as soon as they announced the winner, you and I just turned our backs and to go find Iain and Mike and our wives. So we missed it all.
No, but no, that's not true. When they announced, he shook Derek's hand.
He did it first.
He took one picture.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to do it again, and he was like,
no. That's when we got after he shook his hand. That's when we got up.
Okay.
He had shook his hand, and then when I watched video after, he took a photo, and then they wanted him to do more photos, and he was like, "I'm out of here." He fucking.
Okay. Left. Yeah, I don't even think I saw the first picture. I think by that point I'd already turned around.
I'm like, look, the guy just lost the fucking Olympia. Why are we making such a big deal of him not taking a photo? Like. And people are like, "Oh, he didn't fucking congratulate Derek." I'm like, "Yes, he did. He shook his hand, pat him on the back, and then he took a picture and he left." Yeah, it's like, are we in?
They had a hug and a handshake and took a picture and left.
I saw a clip from Dave Palumbo where he's like, he should be suspended for a year. I'm like, what the fuck are we listening to? Like, what are we talking about? The guy congratulated him, took a photo, and then left.
At the end of the day, it's like it's a fucking competition. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and people are gonna get heated. And all this lovey-dovey shit, like every other fucking category is kissing and hugging each other back, practically making out with each other at the end of the fucking show. It's like, it's okay for one guy in the show who's like literally defending champ to be like, "Yo, man, I'm good. Like, I'm fucking good."
Yeah, it's not like he took a swing at somebody or something.
I gotta
show some emotion.
I gotta say, I saw a Phil Heath, Ronnie Coleman clip where they were both like, "Yeah, we get it. We've been on the losing end, and it's not." I remember when Ronnie Coleman lost to Jay Cutler. He literally took his medal off while he's standing there, and they were taking a photo. He was like, because I think Summer's the one that gave him his medal.
Yeah,
and he took it, and I think he had to put it on, but then he took it off right away.
I remember that.
No, but nobody said nothing about it. Plus, Phil said something really important: is you don't understand what kind of pressure this guy has in Iran. Like, the people in Iran are like crazy for him being Mr. Olympia. So now he's got to go home and deal with the fact that he lost.
Right.
Like, it's not, there's probably more pressure on him than other people, maybe. So that I thought that was a good point as well. But even if you eliminate all that stuff, he shook the hand, pat him on the back, took a photo. What the fuck else do you want?
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're just going to show respect to the person that beat you.
Because he didn't take an extra 2 photos, we're going to suspend him. What the fuck are we talking about here? Like, like, it's not like. So anyway, I just thought it was a little bit ridiculous. I think people are getting maybe a little soft. Like, okay, what do you want? Even if he didn't,
soft. They're fucking soft as 3-ply toilet paper.
Look, honestly, even if he didn't fucking shake his hand, who fucking, he lost. He's upset.
Well, there's so much stock put into these photos at shows and stuff with the winners with the sponsors, blah blah blah. And what gets lost in that is the athlete's emotions. Someone just had lost a big show to him, so you expect him to stand there and smile now, and he just had a very disappointing moment. And
people will say, "Well, Derek did it the year before." But there's one glaring difference. Okay,
champion.
Yeah, Derek wasn't the champion. It was his first fucking time there. For him to take second was a victory in itself. He didn't win and then have to lose, so the emotions are going to be far different than somebody who's doing their Olympia debut. Mm-hmm. Hottie's what's this fucking his 6th time at the Olympia, and he's been like 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Like, he's been all over the place. He finally wins and he loses the next year.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's going to be emotional. Like, why are we all fucking tripping out?
Yeah. I mean, at the end, at least it was a great show. It was a highly competitive show. No one knew to the very end who was going to win that show, which in years past, which wasn't always the case, and it takes that excitement away from it.
Anyway, I just think, look, these guys are competitors. These guys put their whole fucking life into this thing. And if somebody gets upset and leaves the stage before a photo is done, sure, it's not right, but it's not the end of the fucking world. Like,
maybe you can understand.
Yeah, maybe you can kind of. The guy went from 400 grand to 200. Maybe you can understand that he's upset.
Yeah,
it's like
literally represents an entire country, not just his boys and his fucking family. Literally is like a fucking god over there.
Okay, so going on to 3rd place was our boy Samson, or my boy and Paul's boy, we picked him to win.
Yep.
Shape, muscularity, I thought he could win. My personal opinion, as much as I love Samson and I want him to be victorious, I feel like no matter if you like his physique more than everybody else, my opinion about the IFBB and the judging is they are not going to let somebody become Mr. Olympia unless they're shredded. It's just a hallmark. It's a hallmark of all Mr. Olympias. If you look at Sean Roden when he won, you look at Brandon Curry when they won, these guys were at their best. If you look at Phil Heath, who's peeled out of his mind, Ronnie Coleman, Dorian Yates, Jay Cutler, like these guys' all-time bests are always when they were their most shredded. So I don't know if they're going to allow a guy to win if he's not at his very best or what they deem to be his very best.
We were talking about it, Fouad, and I think what gets, like people forget, like, well, obviously not everyone forgets, but Samson's trajectory has been like this the last couple of years. Like where he's come from in the last couple of years has been, some of the greatest things, in the sport. I think he's right there still. Like he's just vibrant, and I think one day he will be a dominant Mr. Olympia.
Listen, he's definitely right there. Look, if he's 5% more shredded, he wins the show.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Like I know his back might not be as big as Hottie's and Derek's. Doesn't matter. I think if he's 5% more shredded, he beats both of them.
Yep.
I just think he needs to get that dryness in the condition to where they want it to be.
Yep.
And aside from that, and I said this to Samson, like, look, you beat Brandon Curry. That's somebody who beat you last year. So you've moved up from 6th to 3rd. I mean, you're 3rd place at the Olympia. This is in the same category now as Kevin Levrone, Sean Ray, Flex Wheeler, Kai Green, Sean Roden, like Dennis Wolf. These are all icons of the sport. He's now in that conversation.
And it looks like, judging by the scores, that he may have gotten a couple first place votes.
So I'm saying, so this guy, I think Samson was a little upset after the show, not at the judging or anything. He was just upset that he didn't win because he knows what he can be.
Yeah.
But I had to pull him back a bit and go, look, you went from 3 years ago trying to qualify, and this year you've won an Arnold Classic and you were just 3rd place at the Olympia. This is like a meteoric rise. Like you're blowing away people that were beating you 2 years ago. So like, this is, I'm really happy for Samson. He's really like stepped into his own. And I think, like you said, Paul, like just he's right there. It's like,
right there, man.
Yeah. And I think people want him to win. Cause like Mike said, when you see them next to those guys, they don't have the same stature and presence, but he's got to be a touch sharper. Ian, how did you feel about Samson before I keep rambling?
Yeah. I mean, he's certainly the most impressive silhouette. He's fucking big as shit. His shape, his structure, muscularity is all great. But I agree with you in the sentiment that to win Olympia, there's a standard of conditioning that he just hasn't quite got to yet. I think that's just a matter of time. I think he's going to get that feedback again this year, and they're going to say, you got to be harder. And I think that he's going to be even more motivated than ever to get to that place. That's really all it is, I think, at this point. I mean, I think his back still needs to improve a little, but I mean, I think if he was in the kind of condition that some of those other guys were that beat him, that even if his back was the exact same and even when he's sharp and maybe his back looks a little smaller because he's so sharp, I think he still could have won the show.
Yeah.
I mean, he has that kind of look is what everyone wants to look like,
Yeah.
When all of us, like when I look at bodybuilding, do I think Derek is super impressive? Yes. Do I think Hottie is super impressive? Yes. Do I think they're better bodybuilders than I ever were? Yes. Do I want to look like them? Not really. Do I want to look like Samson? Fuck yeah, I do. Do I want to be a 6 foot tall, fucking tiny waist, giant legs, fucking beautiful shape? Fucking right. Who doesn't?
Right.
Good looking.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Paul's take it easy. You're gonna upset Theo. Take it easy.
Come on.
That's right. Yeah, I met Theo. I met Theo backstage.
Paul got a picture with Theo this weekend.
Yeah.
Mike,
I don't think he speaks English. I'm sorry.
Mike, what did you think of Samson? I know you were really impressed with his size and all that, but do you kind of have the same sentiment we have, or?
Yeah, I think it's like, I mean, I understand he's frustrated. I understand like what he might be going through. I obviously don't understand, never done what he did, but like I can see why he is. But it's like it's inevitable, right? So
yeah,
like don't worry. That's why, like when I met him on Sunday at the photo shoot, like when I shook his hand, I don't know how it came across him, but I said congratulations, because I was like,
yeah,
it's fucking big what you just did. Like, right. I know you're not happy, and we all want you to be
Right.
at the top, but like it's inevitable. It's like the same stuff. It's like the same thing I say to Quentin when I talked to Quentin a lot of times. I'm like, the road you're taking is the road you're taking. Where it ends up, everyone knows, dude.
Right.
Like we all know where, like,
right.
These two guys are going to be like a battle, like years in the making, right? Whether it's happening now or it's not happening now, whenever it's happening, it's like everyone sees the trajectory that Samson's on. It's just like, yeah, it didn't happen this year, but it's like it's going to happen. So just enjoy let this light the fire even more, I guess, and just be like, remember that year I trained third. Yeah. Fucking third.
That little guy back then.
Remember, okay. Before we skip off of Samson and get on to the other guys, what do you guys think about him doing Romania this week? Because I know some people message me, they're like, what if he loses? He shouldn't have done it. And I'm like, even if he does lose, it doesn't change anything. He's gonna
one sec, I gotta say.
Not that anybody's gonna beat him, but I'm just saying, like,
what kind of a fucking pussyfoot bitch ass mentality is? What if he loses? It's like, oh, let's avoid every fucking conflict and competition in our life. Right. Something bad happens. Like, are you fucking serious? Like, go out and fucking show them that you're the third best bodybuilder in the world and fucking destroy everyone. Be like, I'm third, you're fucking nobody. I win, you don't. You know?
Right.
And plus, as fans of the sport, don't you want to see him compete? Like, don't you want to see the best guys compete?
Well,
like,
in their defense, they're like, he doesn't need to do this. It's a waste of time. And what I would say to that is, for people who are wondering that or watching this, the first thing Samson said to me when he got off stage, when he was kind of upset with getting third. He's like, I'm like, dude, it's third place. Just be happy. Like, it's a step in the right direction. You're on your way. And he's like, I'm a competitor. He's like, money. He's like, there's money, there's fame, but he didn't like, I think this is what he's implying. He said this to me before. He's like, I'm a competitor. That's what I care about. And I think this is the same thing that Iain just said. He wants to compete. He wants to go out there. He's going to fucking, there's people that say, Nathan's the guy in the UK. Maybe he's like, you know what? I'm going to show you guys. I'm the fucking guy.
What's the same as like when,
or maybe he's like, hey, you know what? Nathan Baruz couldn't make it. I'm going to go make sure I put an exclamation point on it.
Put it to bed. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing as like when Hunter did Tampa and then did Texas against Andrew, and people were like, oh, just don't. It's like, I'm not scared. Like, I'm not scared if I lose. I'm not scared that, maybe it's the judges will be like, he lost the show to this guy 6 months ago.
You'll lose momentum.
I'm looking at it at the frame of mind as the judges are judging what they see on stage that day.
Right.
And we know it because we literally saw Regan beat Nathan one day, and the next day Nathan beat Regan because they were better. Like, this shit happens. Right. It's not like 6 months later, like, oh, he beat him, so we should probably have him beat him again.
I mean, look, we already have this test. We already have this in history anyway. Gunter beat Ronnie. At the GNC show of strength, and then Ronnie went on to win 3 or 4 more Olympias
and more dominant than ever. It lit a fire under him.
It doesn't fucking matter, man.
True champions and true competitors are not afraid to compete ever.
No, it brings up the best
what's on the line, or if they might lose, because in their head they're like, I won't lose. I'm not going to lose.
Well, and look,
Samson is 100% confident he's going to win that show, and he should be. Like, go into there and fucking show him who you are.
Yeah, I think people know this is a different Samson than 2 years ago. I don't think anyone in that show, like, no disrespect, but they're not in his league.
No, not even close.
Nobody can. I already said to him, I said, look, Regan beat Nathan, and Regan was 8th or 9th or whatever. 9th. Presti was like 13th or 14th, I think. There's, Baruz wasn't there, but Baruz is not, in the top 6. So I'm like, who's going to beat you? Like, you know what I mean? There's that Horse MD guy is unproven. Nobody knows what he's going to look like. And I'm like, it doesn't matter anyways.
You're an Arnold Classic champion and the 3rd best bodybuilder on the planet.
That's it. None of those guys are top 3 bodybuilders.
You should be 100% confident Ricky is that he's going to fucking steamroll these guys,
And for people that are wondering, and Samson hasn't hasn't told me any of this, so I'm not saying anything out of turn, but I wouldn't be shocked if Samson did both Arnolds.
Yeah.
So, he likes to compete. This is what Samson likes to do, man. He likes to travel. He's not like the rest of the guys.
I also think people sometimes forget, like, this is your job.
Yeah.
Your job is literally to win shows and be a professional of your sport. And how do you do that? You can't be a professional soccer player if you don't play soccer games. You can't be a professional hockey player if you don't play hockey games. He's going out and doing his fucking job, which is winning fucking shows.
And you have a small window,
Can I tell you what the difference is with Samson and some of the other guys? And I don't want to say all the other guys, because I don't know their histories in that. But 3 years ago, Samson was working construction.
Yeah.
So when people say, like, oh, I don't want to travel, Samson knows where the fuck he came from. Yeah. He's like, traveling is fun to him. He wants to go meet people. He wants to see the world. So
Man.
like he'll do all the guest posings, he'll do all the shows, and you see when he goes to the shows with Mel, his wife, they'll go look at the pyramids in Egypt, or they'll go like he's
He brings his drone.
experiencing. Yeah, he's experiencing life while he's doing
Yeah.
bodybuilding. Not many bodybuilders can do that.
Do you remember last year, Fouad? I forget where we were with him at the Arnold's, I think, and then he flew here, like
Yeah.
to win. Then he flew to New York like 2 days
Yeah.
later. Then he flew back to England to take care of his dog for a couple
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
He's like, he doesn't mind, and he just gets bigger. I don't know how he does it. The guy's on an airplane.
Dude, he enjoys seeing the world, and he's enjoying. The reason he's different than the rest of the guys is the rest of the guys are very, and I'm saying I'm putting myself in the same category. I just talked about this with Samson. I could never go anywhere.
I mean,
Most bodybuilders are chained to their gym, to their kitchen, to their home. Samson's like, he wants to experience the world. So he wants to go compete. He wants to go guest pose. He wants to go meet people. Like, he knows what his life was before all this.
Mhm.
So he's very appreciative of like the life that he's worked for and earned. You know what I mean? So I think there's a different mentality, like, as to why he's doing all this stuff. So anyway, good luck to Samson this weekend, and congratulations on third place. After that, we had Brandon and Andrew. I'll let you guys go ahead. Mike, what did you think of Andrew?
I think he looked kind of like, it's hard to say he looks small because he's not fucking small. He just looked kind of stringy, kind of like
He was definitely
a little
off.
depleted. Yeah, like it just seemed off.
Yeah.
Didn't seem like as like his physique wasn't popping like it normally does, and he just kind of looked like, he literally looked like a basketball player among bodybuilders. Like, you know what I mean? Like just long limbed and like it just looked off. But
Yeah, it
I'm
was
a
weird
fan.
because he lost some pop everywhere, so it made his shape look less impressive. Like he didn't have the pop through the lats, the pop through the arms. He lost a little detail and pop in his quads, and his conditioning had definitely been better in other shows. So it made some of his attributes, like his waistline, look less impressive. Like he didn't look like he had the craziest V taper, like you've seen the X frame in some of his shots, because everything around it was kind of a little flattened out.
It's almost like they tried to pull too much water, and he didn't have that.
Didn't he look
roundness.
low energy to you guys too? Like usually you see Andrew posing like he's pretty.
I know from the Arnold, because when I did the commentary there, he had this real like charismatic stage presence.
Right.
Yeah.
And he didn't seem to have that this time. Like his routine was good,
Yeah.
but when he was doing his mandatories, he seemed very like not the same person he was.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
he seemed like low energy or like not like just not confident or something that day.
But I will say, hats off to Andrew, because he was obviously probably I think the worst we've seen him since Texas, like last year, not this year, but like,
Still end up
and he was still fifth at the fucking Olympia. So, congratulations to Andrew.
And out of those 5 guys, 2 of them are previous Olympia champions with Brandon and Hottie.
Right.
Yeah.
So Brandon retained fourth. I thought he looked good. I just think the legs were a little small in comparison to the other guys, to the 3 ahead of him.
Yeah,
I think
Brandon
that
looked great. I mean, I thought he looked good. It's just obviously he has his flaws that he has, and there's better guys there.
But he wasn't
Brandon
great. He was in great shape. I just think his legs are just held him back a little bit.
Yeah, no.
And he had probably one of the.
He needs more hamstring and adductor, and
Yeah.
his upper body, especially like in his side chest, he smokes everyone in the side chest. Like,
Oh, I was gonna say he had probably the best side chest in the show.
oh my god, his side chest is better than everyone in the top 5. Yeah.
Can I actually just I've heard a lot of different stories about why he was sick. They're all wrong. All of them. I haven't heard one person say the right thing. So I've heard, oh, he was pissing blood. Oh, he was throwing up blood. Oh, he choked on a piece of steak. Oh, I just heard all these different things. And I'm like, listen, I'm not going to divulge what the real story is, because that's up for him to do. But I did find out from him, and it's none of those things. So, but congratulations to him for going to the hospital and feeling like he might be out, and then still showing up and being fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So that was great for Brandon. Hunter was 6th.
Yep.
Which is a 1 spot up from last year, and I think he fucking looked great.
Day 2 especially. Day 2 especially.
I
He
think
looked good.
He really pulled it together. Like him and Ben did a fucking awesome job. I mean, we know he wasn't at his best going into that, and we saw how he was and how he changed and how they fucking worked to really get that look and really dial that in. They did really, really good work.
I think
they put him through the paces and the posing to fucking really make sure he was on point. And He really pulled together a good look for sure.
I think he had a long contest season because he had started
it's very
dieting like April or May. I think he started dieting for Tampa.
Yeah, July and then.
So I think the last stretch there for the Olympia was really tough for him, and they got through. And I think you're right. Him and Ben really that last 3 days that Ben was manipulating water,
absolute wizardry to create a look. You know?
Yeah, it was really. Yeah, I'm really proud of Ben for that, man. I was like,
Ben was doing stuff that I would never think of or never dream of, but you were seeing it work, and it was like, well, go for it, man. This is awesome. Yeah.
Paul, as a judge, would you say that you could have? I don't want to say you could have. Would you have had Hunter in front of Andrew?
Yeah. Day 2 especially. I thought day 2 Hunter was beating Andrew.
I had Andrew or 105th.
Yeah, remember we were talking about it when we were watching, especially for the back. We were like, Hunter's beating him quite a bit right now.
What did you think, Mike?
I thought so too.
Well, this is my.
I thought Hunter beat Andrew easily.
Yeah. Well, this was my thinking about it. They went around and around and around in Texas, and Andrew was far better in Texas than he was at the Olympia. And Hunter was pretty close to the same at the Olympia that he was in Texas. So I'm like, why? I'm like, how didn't they put Hunter ahead of Andrew? Like that to me, I saw that Friday and Saturday. I'm like, I think Hunter's better than Andrew because Andrew was definitely off both nights.
Yeah.
So that was one I probably would have flipped. And I know people are gonna be like, oh, you hate Andrew. I don't fucking hate Andrew. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. I thought Hunter was on and Andrew wasn't.
Judging a bodybuilding show, not picking.
Yeah, I'm not picking favorites here personality wise. So then we go to Crizzo. I think somebody said he was very upset with his placing. I thought he was shredded. He looked
moved
big.
5 places from last year. So
yeah. I mean, he was peeled. I thought he looked good. He looks imposing.
Little flat.
He just has his flaws. I mean, you know, he's obviously he has a big discrepancy in strength between certain poses. You know, his back double almost the entire show, except for a couple times, he didn't open it at all. He was posing back.
Yeah.
Didn't open his back double at all. And for him, that's one of his weaker shots. You got to be open, you know? You know, and his hamstrings and glutes are still undersized, especially considering how big he is everywhere else.
Right.
But I mean, he's got some great shots. He's got an awesome side try, awesome side chest, awesome most muscular. He's got some good poses for sure. So, and like you said, his conditioning was fucking excellent. You know, I think he could have been a little on the fuller side. I think he was like maybe a hair flat looking. But I mean, overall, he looked really good and he moved up 5 spots from 12th to 7th. So, I mean, I think that's a win for him. And he got himself in the mix with, you know, guys like Andrew. You know, he moved up into that call out because initially he was in the group with like Regan, Tonio, and then they moved him up to do the 4-man with Brandon, Andrew, and himself.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, he's getting those looks that the judges think he's good enough to be compared with guys that are up to the 4th place guys. So that's a big win for him. So I think he should be proud, you know, but we all have our own expectations of ourselves.
So after that, we had Tonio, Regan, and Charles.
Yeah.
I thought they got all of that right.
Yeah. It's hard to say. I mean, Regan was really good. And like Regan, I thought was by far in the best condition I've ever seen him in.
It's the best Regan we've seen.
By far.
Yes.
But from the back, he was amazing. His conditioning was really good through the glutes, hands, back. He still just needs more pop from the front. You know, he's just losing ground in those front double, the front lat. It's just like there's not a lot of like depth to those shots. It's very kind of like 2-dimensional. You know, where his back is extremely 3-dimensional.
There's a lot of gaps from the front.
Yeah.
Because
big frame.
Because that's what I was going to say, Paul. He's got such a big frame. He still has to pack on a lot of muscle to fill those gaps in.
Yeah, and it's not just that. It's like I think the muscularity is one thing, but I think it's just like the fine detail, which maybe just comes with maturity, or maybe the conditioning still needs to be sharper from the front. But kind of like Derek, I see him as in the same way where Derek's, you know, detail from the front and back is a pretty big discrepancy, and I see that with Regan. You know, I think
with Regan,
back displays a lot of crazy detail, and from the front he does not.
See, with Regan, I don't see that discrepancy in conditioning. I see the discrepancy in muscularity.
Well, then that's what it is. That's why I was asking, like, is it in muscularity or is it in conditioning?
Because when Regan turns around to the back, I don't see the gaps because his back is so big and his fucking hamstrings are so thick.
Adductors huge.
So it's like I don't see the gaps from the back. From the front, I feel like the adductors are a little thin. The arms kind of are a little thin.
The chest is missing a little depth. Yeah.
The lats don't come around and frame the front of the body the way they do from the back. Yeah. So it's like yeah, it's just it's kind of traps are a little bit lower than they should be. Like there's just kind of gaps in the front, whereas I don't see those gaps at all in the back.
I see it as like just as not as much density, and with less density comes less detail. I
That's what
think.
I was saying by what I'm saying. Like there's less depth to it, and I
Yeah.
think
Okay. Yeah.
not as much pop to the muscle in the front, and which is obviously just less muscularity. But
actually
we were talking about with Hottie and stuff. Or with Derek, like, and you and Paul were discussing how Paul was saying one thing. It shows as less conditioning because there's less muscularity.
Right. Mike, did you think Tonio was better than Regan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
I
Tonio.
just think that Regan, like, it's crazy because I've been around. I see Regan often, and I've trained him before. And it's like when he's standing in front of you, there's no one more impressive than if he's just standing there looking at you, and you're just like, "What the fuck is this?" But it's like as soon as that frame from the front opens up and gets stretched out, it's almost like this waist that looks like it's this big becomes this big.
Yeah,
and it's like everything gets pulled lengthwise. And it's like, I don't know whether it's like maybe he's leaning back on poses too much, or he's just trying to but I feel like if you just set down on poses more and like sat on the ab, especially when it comes to like front lats and stuff like that, like it just seems like everything gets a little too elongated, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It seems like we see a lot of guys, not a lot of guys, but it seems like we see a few guys do that. If we had like especially in the front lat, sticking the stomach out instead of coming down.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Do you see the front versus the back? Like there's no gaps here.
And his conditioning is great. Hamstrings corded, glutes are peeled, fucking Christmas tree, he's shredded.
Yeah. It's a different bodybuilder.
I think when you don't have the best arms, it's a lot easier. Like a lot easier to hide them in back shots. Like even like Chris, like you can notice it a lot more in his front double than his back double.
I used to do that.
Yeah,
my arms were the great in the front. When my arms were down, my arms looked big, but my arms went up into a front double, they look thin.
Yeah.
So, but from the back, you can't see that.
Yeah.
I just found this photo and it kind of emphasized what I was talking about. I want to show it. So this is kind of what I meant about balance. Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because Derek's trying to pull a vacuum and he's pulled his pelvic bone all the way back, but it looks like this just looks like a more balanced physique to me.
Well, Hadi has a lot more sweep and a higher sweep to his quads. Of course, sweep, but inserts.
Yeah, it's up here.
It's only about like 4 to 6 inches there, where Derek's is down about another 4 inches from that. And there's definitely more depth. Derek does have huge adductors. His adductors are big. His vastus medialis, like everything in there is like big. Like the teardrop's big.
But it's in
just the sweep insertion and the depth of the sweep.
I don't think it's just a sweep though, Ian. I think it's the depth of the entire quad. Like look at this.
I mean, I think he's got more in a lot of the areas of the quad than Hadi does.
Inner thighs.
I don't think
his inner thighs, his teardrop looks bigger. Like, there's a lot of things that are comparable. The mid section's very similar in depth and size. I see it more just coming from the height of the insertion and the depth of the width of the insertion.
I see that, but I also see an emptiness here. It's like
a detail.
It's empty. Look at this, like the thickness here.
It looks the same to me.
Yeah.
See what I see a crazy proportions on Derek, like insane.
And look at
silhouette.
And look at the detail. Like look at the feathering in here, and like there's nothing
but more detail to Hadi.
Yeah, no, the detail is obviously different. I mean, we discussed.
Yeah, but there's also probably 15 years difference between those two guys of training. But that's not an excuse by any means. Like that's just the advantage he has. But
I can't. There's no shot that Hadi loses.
Go back to that side chest for a minute, please, Fouad.
I like Derek's. It looks good in the side chest, though.
His legs look amazing in the side chest.
Yeah, his legs look really good. He was peeled looking in the side chest. The side of the leg was like fucking granite.
The only area I see more detail on Hadi is the chest.
Yeah, chest you could definitely see
a
little.
No.
Shoulders a little, maybe.
No, it's shoulders, chest, and abs. Look how dry this is right here.
Yeah, abs, yeah, for sure.
But those are
Hadi's
got
got crazy
side chest, so it's not.
Yeah, but then Derek's got that shot.
Yeah, but
by quite a bit, in my opinion.
But no, not by quite a bit. No, I mean, look, his glutes are drier, but this isn't like he's not fat.
No, there's just more detail to Derek's.
There's more detail,
more detail to the back, wider back.
I wouldn't say that.
Christmas tree.
Hadi's not opening.
That's true. Yeah, it could be just that picture for sure.
Hadi's lats.
He does look like he has a little more thickness to it, but in terms of
I was just going to say that Hadi's back is thicker than Derek's.
Yeah.
thicker, but not in the lats are about the same though, density and width.
Lots of like
Well, width is more Derek's, but
I wouldn't say so. His back is
how
way
about
thicker.
there?
His back is much thicker.
But Derek's is wider.
Okay,
Well,
by
it's pretty
how
close
much?
though. It's pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty
By
close
how-
actually. I think Derek's has a smaller waist, so it leaves the illusion of it being wider.
They're posing it differently. He doesn't have a.
Yeah, that too.
He's leaning forward. He's leaning back. You
Yeah,
can't.
but the discrepancy in the conditioning in the side of the leg and the hamstring, the glutes, the lower back, even the mid back and the traps and like through the rhomboids is pretty significant on those.
Look at
But
this.
we're just seeing still photos too. It's different.
No,
with video,
but look at this. You talk about detail. Look at this. Look at
upper
the
body
difference.
for sure.
Look
upper
at the
body
diff-
details.
Look at the
much
difference.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I can't argue with that.
Derek
Yeah.
wins on the lower body.
Yeah, but not
Lower body, though.
But the discrepancy is not the same.
No,
No.
I agree.
Like
You're
the
right.
discrepancy in the lower body conditioning versus the upper body conditioning is night and day.
Yeah, no, I can't argue with that.
Look at this. Look at his
Yeah,
waist.
Derek can't do a abs and
That's-
thighs where he
yeah.
flexes his abs, you know.
Yeah.
Like I just don't see it.
But then again, though, these are just still photos. It's different. As
No,
you know,
but this
we
is
talk
what
all
I-
the time.
Yeah, but wait a minute. This is what I saw in real life.
I know. Yeah. Well, if you agree with it
We
in
were-
real life,
We were sitting 4 fucking rows up. Like I saw the same thing when I was
But
sitting there.
But when we were sitting there, Fouad, didn't you kind of agree? Like, it kind of could have went either way. Like, like you couldn't argue with Derek winning,
That's,
and you couldn't
that's
argue
not
with
true
Hadi.
because on Friday night when we were at IHOP, I specifically remember saying to you guys, I don't think Derek's legs match the upper body.
Yeah, we did
That
talk
was,
about
and
that.
that was the only thing that kept holding me back.
Yeah.
Because I remember saying to you, Hadi's got the condition from the front, Derek's got the condition from the back. But I feel like the imbalance is where I have Hadi winning. So that was kind of my opinion all through. Now, look, it doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of
Yeah.
the day, but I just,
Oh.
yeah.
It's just debating things.
Anyway,
It's
overall,
interesting. It's interesting debate, though. And I think you could debate that all night long.
so before we move on, 212, Keon fucking best Sean Clarita, who's like a 3 or 4 time winner,
2-time,
2-time.
2 or 3.
Anyway, former Mr. Olympia, fucking Keon finally puts it together. Congratulations to him. His condition probably wasn't as hard as Sean's, but his shape just like knocked it out of the park.
His condition was good enough, and Sean had some flaws that he didn't have last year in terms of he was too big this year.
Yeah, like because he was having trouble controlling that stomach.
Yeah, especially on the
Yes.
abs and thighs, he couldn't keep his lower stomach in, and when he would flex it down, you could see there was a little bit of like, a distension in there. Some of the shots was definitely evident, and it looked like he was like he was just gained. He was up 5 or 6 pounds from last year, and you're talking about a guy that's 180 pounds. That's like me gaining 25 pounds at my in one season. It's too much for a physique like that. And it's got to give somewhere, and it gave in his stomach a little bit. I don't think he was quite as sharp in other shots. His lower back, his glutes weren't quite as hard. We've seen them, but he was crazy full, lots of pop and detail. But Keon exploited those weaknesses with his small waist, his vacuum, and his condition was good enough that it was better than last year and still close enough to Sean's in 99% of the shots that he could overtake him on those. I'm not upset with the decision. I think Sean is very impressive, but I also see, especially when it comes to stomach things like that, where I understand those decisions.
That's the
Paul, did you think that Sean needed the extra 3 or 4 pounds, or would he have done better had he come in the same as last year?
I think it would very had he come the same as last year. I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see much 212. Even photos that I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff in the 212s yet. But no, I everything that I did see and I've been hearing about is it was a stomach, and the stomach. If there's any issues with a distended stomach these days, you're going to get scored down for it.
Yeah,
that's just as simple as it is. And Keon's fucking got beautiful shape, man, and I think he's a deserving champion. What did Carrot finish third? Fourth, and who?
Angel was third.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Sean needed any more muscle.
No, where are you going to put more muscle in that?
Muscle? What does he need more muscle for? This guy's
he's
exploding with muscle.
He's not losing size to anybody.
No. Even though he's lighter, it's like it's almost like it gets sometimes in your head because of the scale weight. But like in terms of actual muscularity on a frame, he's the biggest guy in almost any class there is.
For sure, pound for pound, for sure.
And I think if you just got that weight down back another 4 or 5 pounds, get the conditioning really tight, made sure the waist was crisp, not worry about being fucking like so exploding full, I think being exploding full is good, but not when there's so much food in your little frame that your stomach is going to come out.
Sure.
With it,
And they,
like you see it there even.
Yeah,
if you just in that transition, even here, it's out a little bit on that side try.
Before you got.
Not to criticize, but they should have known him and his team. I mean, like this has been the focus for a while now.
Look at how his stomach is even there.
Yeah, you can't have that.
Before we go on,
it's coming out hard. Yeah.
Before we go on, Paul, do you think Kareth could have beat Angel? Because I'm looking at this thinking he should have been third.
I had Kareth beating Angel.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
Angel didn't honestly really impress me that much this Olympia. He very much did last year. He didn't impress me as much as last year at all.
Yeah. All right, let's move to Classic. So obviously we have a 5-time Mr. Olympia. Does anybody, what, this guy's not just the Mr. Olympia of physiques, he's also the Mr. Olympia of fucking speeches. Yeah. Does anybody give a better victory speech than fucking Chris?
It's like, not even that like his speeches are better. They're just so much more believable. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, you can tell
you could have someone else say the exact same thing, and you're kind of like, yeah. When Chris says it, you just believe it better. I don't know why.
You could just tell it's coming from his heart when he talks.
Yeah.
Mike, it's not like scripted or anything.
Hey, Mike, when Chris gave his speech, did it make you want to stop eating Crustables? Did it inspire you to get in shape?
I thought it was great that you had boxes of those at your booth too, Mike.
I tried the fucking Nutella ones this weekend. They were fucking amazing.
Oh, what do they come with? Nutella and what else?
It's just Nutella inside.
Oh,
it's just a pocket of chocolate.
Where you get the Costco, right?
Yeah. Well, not here. They don't have them here.
Oh. All right. Okay. Can we get? I'm just joking. Can we get off?
So anyway,
no.
What'd you guys think of the men's physique?
Awesome. Let me tell you.
I knew you were gonna say something.
I was so pumped for Ryan Terry.
So is that the way you guys had it, or did you have something different?
Yeah, I had Ryan Terry all the way.
I'm sure Mike watched about 0 seconds of that.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting.
You just see people like walking down the aisle past you as they go.
Yeah. You know what though? I wonder because next year they're changing it, right? Well, there's a weight cap, but aren't they also changing the shorts next year to shorter shorts?
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. I was going to say that, like, even though we aren't the biggest men's physique watchers here, they really fucking made a statement with that win on that class. Like,
for sure,
really kind of went back to like a different look of that, of like the more old school, like a guy that was definitely not the biggest or most muscular in the lineup, like some of the guys have been previous years that had really crisp conditioning. His waistline was really good. He just fucking stood in his front, relaxed, straight on, where everyone's kind of twisting angles, and and he was just like the best of like what is like the essence of men's physique,
Yeah, I thought it was the right step that they're taking to bring it back to what it should have been. I think.
Right move,
yeah, but I'm wondering if it's going to become a little bit more popular now that they're getting judged on their legs again. Like at least up to your.
They're only making it 2 inches above the knee. I think if they're.
Is that all? I thought it was more like the halfway up the thigh look.
2 inches above the knee, which I don't think is enough.
Okay.
I think you need to make it like mid thigh if you really want to do that, because like, guys can fucking still hide that. Like it's not.
So what if a guy like has like pencils for legs? Like that's going to throw his look off a little bit, I would imagine.
100%.
With the shorter shorts, so it's going to change it a little bit.
It'll change a little bit, yeah. But I think they still need to make them a little shorter to make like a bigger impact on that, yeah.
Yeah, the weight cap too is obviously going to. The weight cap's going to make a big difference too, though.
Well, the weight cap's really high, so I hope no one has a problem making that weight cap, because the weight cap is basically what classic physique was until they changed it this year.
Oh, I thought it was classic physique minus 10 pounds.
It's classic physique now minus 10 pounds, but they just gave classic physique a weight jump,
That's right too. Yeah,
4 to 7 pounds. So I mean, it's only like 3 to 6 pounds less than what classic physique guys at the Olympia were doing last year in men's physique.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
So for like someone in men's physique that's 6'1", like Chris is, they could still weigh 232 pounds. Like that's fucking huge,
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Mike.
Yes.
Do you think they should get rid of men's physique?
Yeah, I do.
Mike, do you think they should also get rid of the 212?
I think they should mandate that bikini girls have to fucking walk faster and pose faster. Because that shit is fucking insane. How fucking slow can you walk? How slow can you walk on stage?
You mean when they're walking on stage or when they do the bikini walk?
Everything. It's like fucking, like, come on, man.
Trying to be sexy, Mike. Do you think they should get rid of the 212 class?
No.
Yes.
Just get rid of the weight cap.
Paul, do you think you should get rid of the 212 class?
I love 212 now.
I think me and Ian I think I'm finally on Ian's team.
You get rid
It's
of
just
it.
bodybuilding.
I
It's just
think they should
bodybuilding, bro.
Just dump it.
It's just bodybuilding. Just make they're all bodybuilding.
Look at, you know why? You know why?
I'm all
Wait,
for having a
wait,
class for him.
Wait, you know why? You know why? Tonio was probably like 210 pounds and he was 8th.
Yes. Derek and Hottie were both 212 guys within the last fucking 5 years. You know?
Well, where's
Yeah, but it'll
Keon
be
in an open
he was
lineup then, you
8th,
guys
but
think?
he was 212, 210, and he was 8th, but he'll never be first at 210.
No,
Never.
but like Lee Priest was a top 6 guy his whole career. That's
Yeah.
that's something
I mean,
respectful, and he probably was
so-
205.
Where would you guys have put Keon in this lineup then of open?
I think he would have beat Charles.
You'd have got 10th?
I think I could have.
I think you could have had him and Sean kind of both in that like 10 to 12, 13 spot.
Well, then I think it makes him even more of an argument you should keep 212.
Why?
Yeah, because they're not winning shit.
Why?
So-
So everybody can win.
The
Oh,
argument
like give them a
Yeah.
chance to like make a career out of it.
Level,
win.
level
They can
playing
have
field.
They can have a career in 10th.
More of a level playing
Yeah,
field.
fuck.
What do you mean? 10th?
I can tell you, I know for a fact that guys like Regan and Charles that are coming 10th are making a pretty damn good career, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but off supplement contracts.
Yeah, but I mean, no one even winning the 212
Yeah, but-
first place isn't like fucking $1 million. It's not that much, you know?
Yeah, winning the 212 is like, what is it, 50 grand or something like that?
I don't know, 50 or 70 grand. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not making a living off that.
No.
But it's
So-
sustaining them.
So even Claret at his best, where do you put him in that open lineup?
At his best, I would have had him
Ahead of Tonio.
Yeah.
So
I would
around
have
8.
put him at 8. Yeah.
Are you
What's
on our
I
side?
think that
place
makes
guy?
a stronger argument for 212 for keeping it.
How does it make
What's-
it stronger out?
what's
Because you're
eighth
talking about a
place?
guy, because you could
What's-
arguably say that Sean is the best pound for pound
So you're
bodybuilder.
how can you say that if he's 8th? If he was the best pound
Like-
for pound bodybuilder, he would have won.
No, because he's too short.
What do you mean? If he's the best pound for pound bodybuilder, that means he's better than everybody. He just lost to Keon. How could he be the best pound for pound bodybuilder?
Okay, he's got the most muscle pound for pound.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It's how it's distributed. What do you mean? Who cares how much?
He's just
muscle?
got too small of a package to stand next. Like imagine him standing next to Samson.
That's life.
So that's for him.
Oh well, he can't.
This is life.
You know what? Let's have we should have a class for fat guys because what can they win? We should make a class.
That's totally different.
we
You
should
can't
make a class-
compare that.
You know what?
That's
I
not a
want.
fair
I want. I
comparison.
want to have a class for Uber Eats. People who just
You-
eat Uber Eats.
You
They get
just
to go
made
out.
your argument.
They show
Make-
their they show their
I'm right
belly.
there. I'm right there with you, Fouad. I agree with you 100% on
Maybe
this.
I want to
Really?
have the biggest belly class. We should have that too.
the biggest what?
Belly.
It's the only class in all of competitive bodybuilding that is the exact same as another class with a handicap. It's the only
Well,
one.
Yeah.
I understand your guys' argument. I'm all for
I was,
though.
you know
having
what, man? I was on the every class should exist train until I saw Tonio. And now I'm like, this motherfucker could be a 212, and he's like, I'm gonna go against the big guys, and I'm gonna place top 10 at the fucking Olympia.
Do we know for sure he weighed 210 though? He looked a lot bigger.
Dude, he
210.
was 218 in New York when he won, and he was
And-
way
and-
more
and he was
and he was way more
bigger.
shredded. Paul, the guy beat Theo, who weighs like 260. He beat Presti, who's like
Regan?
260. He beat fucking Regan. He beat Charles. He beat who else is in that top 15? Like
These guys who are
he
all
beat, we beat
multiple-
Roman. Roman's like 260 pounds,
peeled out of his mind. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's winning. So why can't Keon do that, or Kareth, or those guys can all do it too?
I mean,
And
I
plus,
understand
and
the
plus,
argument.
and plus, think
Derek
about this.
Lunsford and Hottie are both like 5'5" and 5'6". They're
Yeah, well,
212.
and they're
think
both
about
former 212s. Yeah.
Think about this. Think about this too. How much is someone like Tick Kareth, for example? He's got a pretty dense package, right?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
moved
He's probably
himself
right
up.
on the board.
How
He's probably
much-
getting closer to the limit.
Think about this. How much is someone like Kareth limiting himself to just stay in the 212 when maybe if he was like 225, he'd be in the top 10 at the Olympia.
well,
the Open.
and that's then you guys gave the example of Derek and Hottie. Those are two guys who did finally.
I'm saying,
What
like,
would you,
putting
what would
limits on
you think?
themselves.
What would you think if they lowered 212 to like a 180 limit?
I would agree with it more, but I still don't like it.
But you can understand, like, if you make the cap lower
Mhm.
and to literally that you can't make up that distance,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
then that category would make sense. Yes, it would be redundant because it's like, okay, you're the little Mr. Olympia, but
Yeah.
it's like just because the cap is in this
Close
200-pound
enough.
region,
Yeah.
and a lot of guys are dropping to it.
Yeah.
If we make it so there's no way you could drop to it, you have
Right.
to stay up, then
Well, when
it would
it's
be better, right?
when
Yeah,
it
that makes
started
sense.
when it started, it was 202.
Yeah,
that
no.
was the original weight, right?
Yeah.
If it was 180, Sean Clarita would win 300 straight.
Yeah.
I'm saying we find that weight where it's like, even if it was like the
I don't think they
individuals like
should
weight.
though. I don't.
So
I
it's
don't
less of an in-betweener
listen
kind of.
with the advent of classic, and I know just because you're in the weight cap doesn't mean you're classic, but I'm just saying like there's already another category for guys who don't want to get fucking heavy and huge. Like this is bodybuilding. Whether you if they made a 180 class, I wouldn't even fucking watch it. It's like
No.
who's gonna watch
But
that?
there'd be a place where we could all be included.
Mike, I'm shocked. I'm
And that's
shocked.
all we do nowadays is include.
Mike, I'm
And on
shocked.
Bro Chat, we're all about including.
All inclusive podcast.
Exclusivity.
Anyway, I'm not. Listen, I guess I'll say this. I'm not totally against the 212 class. It's cool that they have it. I will say that after seeing Tonio, I'm more on Ian's side about it because
Well, you can see how the cream rises to the top, right? Like guys who are the best are going to move up.
yeah,
right?
regardless of how
but
tall
there's
they
going to
are.
be some guys in terms of stature, in terms of quality, that could never move up.
Right.
So we have to find like if we have to lower it to like 199 or something.
Yeah, I think that's a good argument that Mike makes. But
I mean,
how close is Keon? Do we know to the weight limit?
I don't know.
He's got to be pretty. He's kind of a small
I
guy.
think he was about 200 pounds, 202.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Look, man, things can happen if you want them to. Dexter Jackson fucking started as a bantamweight.
Yeah.
You know, he's not the biggest fucking guy, but he won it.
He won it.
He's the most winningest bodybuilder ever.
Yeah, he won nationals as a light
You know
heavy.
what I mean? So like,
and he wasn't 250 winning any of these shows.
yeah, he was like what was he, 230 pounds, maybe 240
At most.
at his biggest, maybe 240.
Yeah, I mean, 240 probably not even
I don't
that
even
big.
think he was that heavy, man. I
Yeah.
put him like at a 225, 235. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, it's been a couple hours. Maybe we should wrap there.
No, let's do a couple questions.
Save. I didn't put anything up. I'll do some old ones. Let's go back and see what we got here.
What should we do? We have.
Do you want to tell? Do you want to tell people what you do when you're driving to stay awake? Not with
not with Fouad in the car. I was telling Fouad when we were about to depart from each other. I was like, you know what's a good trick that I used to do when I was just Mike probably knows where I'm going with this.
I already know what you're gonna.
I don't know.
I used to do when I would drive and I'd be falling asleep. I would fucking jerk off while I was sleeping.
But if you
Like,
But
how
once
did
you
I
blow your
know?
load-
I knew where this was heading, and I had no idea what you were going to talk about. I knew exactly what you were.
But once you blow your load, you want to
you fall asleep.
You just gotta ride. You just gotta edge it for hours.
Oh man. I'd
Edge it.
rather have a coffee.
Just
I'd
ride-
rather have a coffee.
You just gotta ride the red line for as long as you can. You know.
I get blue balls the rest of the way home.
Blue
I was
balls
like-
just
so I
aching
said
by
to
the time you get home.
So I
Keep
said to
going.
him,
You'll never fall asleep. As
Yeah.
you keep going, you just never fall asleep.
Yeah.
so I said to him, I go, "What do you do when you blow your load?" He goes, "Well, you just pull up your underwear."
Well, shit, too. At that rental you had, they said they didn't even clean it beforehand. You could just be like,
I
know?
know.
Yeah.
Oh,
they would
I
know. You'd be like, that was in here when I got here.
I know, right? We never did any of the eating challenges, Mike. People are getting
know.
mad. Like, you
Well,
guys-
no one brought us any fucking burgers.
one guy
Probably wasn't a
actually,
good idea to do it there.
one guy actually got mad in the last comment section. He's like, "You guys always say you're going to do challenges, you never do them." He's like, "This is bullshit."
Oh, sorry, we'll destroy our health for you
Fucking
next
cry
time.
about
I'd
it.
make you happy.
Sorry, I'll die of a heart attack. So you can be
Yeah, just
happy.
make you happy, get you a laugh.
What percentage of bodybuilders are actual meatheads, i.e., not bright mentally? The amount of misspelling in this comment section is greater. Oh God.
65 to 68%.
You know what? I think it's a misnomer. I don't think that's true.
I do.
I don't think there's that many stupid bodybuilders.
Hold on, before we go any further, what's misnomer mean?
No, but like, think about it. I mean, we're not to name names, but like, most bodybuilders I know are pretty intelligent. They put their lives together all right. Like, they're not total fuck ups and shit.
No, but out of the Olympia lineup, I could name like at least 50% that are probably pretty big fucking boneheads, you know?
Dumb as rocks.
No,
Just sit for 30 seconds and think about it.
you know
Go
that's
from-
good. You know someone's going to quote that, right? Ian said 50% of the Olympia is stupid.
I didn't say who. I also
Uh,
didn't say maybe if I was in the Olympia lineup, I might include myself in those boneheads, you know?
If Derek wins the Olympia, do you think he will do a prayer as his victory speech? This is obviously before, but he did do a prayer, didn't he?
They do a prayer, so yes, he did.
Thanked all his peoples.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah.
You guys are brutal, man. Would you rather? No. How many skull tattoos does Mike have?
Too many.
Do you have a lot of skulls?
Yeah, too many. They're literally everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't speak English anymore, but can choose one language to be fluent in. What is it?
Spanish.
French.
Yeah.
I don't like French.
French.
Spanish is the most spoken language, isn't it?
No,
Next to
Mandarin
English?
Chinese, Mandarin Chinese is, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Fine.
think
Chinese then.
Why Chinese? Just so you can speak to more people?
So when the takeover happens, I'm ready to communicate.
You're ready there.
Don't take me. Don't take me.
Paul, what about you? You said no, I don't want French.
I would. I like the German language.
Really? It's
Yeah.
like the harshest language on earth.
It's a very male dominant language.
Are
Very
you,
dominant language.
are you terrified to be gay? Like, what is wrong with you?
No, I think it would suit my voice.
It would suit his voice. That is true.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Picture
You know
those.
any German words?
Adolf Lauzon.
Yeah. helmet Lauzon. I prefer Mike. I don't know any German words that I could give you an example of, but schnitzel.
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 Yeah.
So you don't know any German words, but you pick German.
I like the language. Yeah.
Okay. You like the harshness of it.
I like it. Yeah.
Ian?
Yeah, I'd probably take fucking Chinese or like Arabic or something. I don't know.
Arabic.
So I can still speak to you at least.
Geography question for Paul. Oh, we did this already.
Okay.
What
Oh, I got that one right. That was Manila.
What is the capital of New Zealand?
Auckland.
Oh, impressive.
Yeah, very quick too, wasn't I?
What is the
Is that
capital?
right?
What's the capital of Colombia?
Bogota.
What?
Bogota.
He's thinking of drugs. You're like,
No,
what
it is the
drug-
capital.
What drug country he's doing?
I don't know if it is the capital, is it?
I think so.
Or Medellin.
Colombia capital. What is the Colombia capital? What? Bogota.
Capital of Colombia.
Bogota.
Bogota.
There you go. See, I told you guys I was getting better with my geography.
Jesus. Paul.
Stepping his game up.
Shocked.
Because you starting to use like well-known countries now, not these
What's the capital
third
of
world republics.
What's the capital of Denmark?
Denmark.
Is that
Did I say one before?
is that also a third world country?
No, Denmark, but it's a lesser known European country. What
Lesser known.
Starts with a C, doesn't it? Is it Copenhagen?
Copenhagen.
That doesn't count. Mike gave you a fucking. Mike gave it away.
No. Oh, C.
Okay, I knew as soon as he
That's
said
barely
it.
a hint.
As soon as
That's
he
like
said
a-
it, as soon as he said C, I knew it, and
There
I didn't know what
could've
it
been
was.
I'll
There
give
could've been
Paul
it.
actually the benefit on
There
this
could be
one
any
because
letters in it.
we actually did do this question once, and Paul did answer Copenhagen. I do remember.
Bullshit.
Thank you.
Yeah, he has got that one right before.
Capital.
Saskatchewan, go. Saskatchewan, go.
Saskatchewan.
Ah, you're wrong.
Regina.
Regina. It's not Regina. Who the fuck is Regina?
Regina.
Regina, tomato.
Exactly. However you want to pronounce it.
Capital of Uzbekistan.
Whoa.
It's a former Soviet republic.
Hezbollah.
Breakaway.
Hezbollah.
province.
Hezbollah.
Beirut. No, I don't know.
Who has the biggest lats from the front of all time? Dorian or Rolly? Rolly's not even part of that.
Rolly has good lats from the front, but not that.
Not like Dorian. I wouldn't be like those two are the comparison.
like Joel
Leany?
Stubbs.
Yeah,
From the front, they said, or from the back?
from the front.
Joel Stubbs is still pretty wild from the front.
If you had to eat shit, would you rather eat it warm or wait till it cools and hardens?
Cools and hardens.
Cools.
obviously.
Yeah.
Cold.
You choke that right down.
It's literally a
Well, you-
scientific thing that cold, like frozen food like that, you're gonna have less flavor to it than warmer food.
And you'd have less smell because the smell.
It would get caught in your teeth. You'd have like shit
No,
stains
true.
in your teeth.
Oh, I'm gonna puke. Can't do
Just
that
shit
kind of
right
detail.
all over your
Oh,
teeth right here.
oh,
You
God.
gotta dig it out.
Harry, Mike.
Yeah, you can. I can hear you.
Harry. Gotta weak stomach for
Throw up.
shit. I got a weak stomach for shit.
You start training right now to do a cartwheel. How long does it take you until you can perfect one?
My lifetime.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that. I got bad shoulders. There's no way I could do that.
I feel like you get done in a month.
Ian's got the best chance of us.
What sporting event have any of you been to the most, and which one would you like to go to more, if any?
Basketball.
I've been
Hockey
to
games are fun.
I've been to UFC. I like that. I go to more of those.
Yeah, I'd go to more. Yes, I've been to a couple. I'd like to go to more.
There's
They're
one
having one in
coming.
Toronto. They're having
Yeah.
one in Toronto. We're getting a box. You
I
guys
was
come.
just gonna say that. Yeah,
When
yeah,
is
yeah.
it?
Yeah, I'm in.
If it's at well, regardless of where it is, but especially if it's at Scotia, we're gonna get a box on the 200 level.
I can't. Fuck, I might not be able to go.
When is it?
No, I'm gonna go. I'll change my
It's
other
in
appointment.
January.
January 20th.
Why can't you go?
I have a previous engagement.
Ooh,
What?
What?
What you got going on January 20th?
Oh
is
yeah,
it?
you're right. I don't fucking travel like every weekend. What are you talking about?
I never
Bob?
heard about this.
You're worse than my wife. I don't know who that is. Who is that? Any plan? Nope. What will happen first? Iain running sub 11 seconds or Samson winning an Olympia? Basically, that's saying, are you going to win sub 11? Are you going to run sub 11 by next October?
Have you timed yourself yet, Ian, since you started training again?
No, he'll probably, if he wins it next year, he'll beat me. I think if it takes him 2 years, I'll beat him. I think by not this coming summer or next October, I'll run one, but I think by the next one, I could probably get pretty close.
What do each of you do to minimize emotional turbulence when it arises in your lives, other than go to the gym?
Just ride the wave. Just ride the wave, homie.
Smoke some weed, push that shit down. Suppress those feelings, push it down.
let it boil over later.
That's right, yeah. That's what men do.
That's interesting. How does a fish drink water without drowning?
They don't drink water.
Fins.
Their
Through their
gills.
fins, yeah. Or not their fins, their gills.
They don't drink water.
They
They
take an oxygen.
process water in their body, they get oxygen, right?
They suck the oxygen out of it through their gills.
Yeah.
Do they
It's not
drink
just
water?
thinking.
Well,
don't
it
need to.
passes through them.
Yeah, but did they drink it?
No, they don't drink it.
Well, no, they don't.
So they don't-
drink water.
When they eat, though, they probably take some water in.
You just made that up.
I'm just assuming. I'm assuming when they eat, they take water in.
They
too.
got to get the
They're
food.
Actually-
surrounded by water.
One of my best friends is a fish, and he told me that.
So they got to get. So you're assuming they got to get the food down, so they gulp some water.
Well,
that's
they
that.
open their mouth. Water's automatically going to go
Well,
in.
it
They're
goes
in
out
water.
there.
Yeah, no, actually, as well as getting water through osmosis, saltwater fish need to purposefully drink water in order to get enough into their systems. Where their freshwater counterparts direct all of the water that comes into their mouths out through their gills, saltwater fish direct some of it into their digestive tract.
Mm. I didn't know we were talking about saltwater fish. That's
Yeah.
what they were talking about.
Yeah, I assumed it was.
I would
like-
have given a different. I would have given a different answer.
Yeah,
But most of it does say fish consume water mostly through a process known as osmosis. So it's like absorbing it essentially.
Have you ever lied about your PED doses? All the time.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
No, nobody knows exactly how much I've taken.
Yeah, and they never will.
Nope. They don't need to know.
If Paul is always right,
Not always.
if Paul is always a little bit right,
Yes.
and Iain always makes things a little bit gay,
41%.
what is Fouad and Mike's always a little bit? I'm always a little bit angry.
And I'm always the other bit of that angry.
Yeah.
We're like, we just fit right in there.
Like
A whole angry pie.
Best live concert you've seen?
I saw
Rage Against the
Marilyn
Machine.
Manson.
I've only been to like 2 or 3 concerts, man.
I saw Flo Rida
Oh,
in
Interesting.
Cancun, and it was
Oh.
it was pretty fucking hype. That was pretty sick. Yeah.
Well, in Cancun,
was this at the height of Flow Rider?
This was at like apple bottom jeans days in like 2007.
Like, welcome to my
And
house.
I was like balls deep in the white stuff and just having a great time.
Yeah, but it could have been anybody. You'd have been like, that was a great concert.
Yeah, best music ever.
Okay, when that song comes on, though, like that fucking "Shorty got them map" and the fucking
No, sing it, finish it.
I don't know that song yet.
that's getting clipped. That's getting clipped already. I'm already fucked.
Yeah.
Favorite country you've traveled to and why? Mike, you've traveled a lot. Where have you been? What's your favorite place and why?
Australia, just because
Never been.
the weather's great and the people are. Everyone I encountered was cool as shit, so I liked it there a lot.
Ian,
Question, fuck, I don't really know.
Paul, while he's thinking.
I've only been to Mexico, Canada, and US. And Bahamas with you.
Like I've been to a lot of countries, but like nothing that it's like wow, this was my favorite. You know?
Yeah, I think Dubai for me.
See, I'm going to Dubai at the end of the month, so maybe I'll have an answer. I'm going to Dubai and Turkey at the end of the month, so maybe that'll be on my list. I mean, like, I really like certain areas in Portugal or Spain that I went. You know, I've been to Italy and there was places I like there, but I'm not like, oh wow, I can't wait to go back there. You know?
I felt that way about Dubai. I was like, man, this place is fucking sweet. I could fucking live here.
Yeah. See, I never felt that in any other place.
Could you discuss how genetic variances such as long head, short head, biceps, and how judges view and judge these characteristics?
They're not judging them so directly as what you think. You're just judging how it fits in and flows with the entire physique.
Yeah, I mean, look, example, Ronnie Coleman, short bicep head, crazy peak. Kevin Levrone, or okay, I'll take an even better one. Phil Heath, not as short bicep peak, still amazing arms. So it's kind of like Ian said, it doesn't really matter. It matters more how it fits with the rest of your body.
You know, you ever seen like a young, someone just to start training or a young bodybuilder or something, and they'll ask you a question like, "What exercise do I do to get my peaks better?"
Yeah,
like,
yeah, but that's a normal question. I don't.
Is it?
That doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Is it? Or are they sluts?
Paul, that's like a main. That's a that
like your bicep is like it is, you know.
No,
right.
but
the question doesn't make sense when you actually think about it.
I'm not saying there's a way to peak them more. All I'm saying is that used to be a regular question, and the reason I know that is because it was almost in every single fucking article, every single issue of every muscle magazine.
Yeah, they would talk about a peak,
how to get bigger peaks, how to get yeah,
all the time. Yeah.
Well, really, the answer is just get bigger biceps, and if you have peaky biceps, then they're going to be peaked.
Yeah, right. Or tear them.
But people used to think you could actually like make them peak more if you did more preacher bench or more
turn your pinky out at the top.
Right. Yeah. I think it was Vince Taylor that claimed that he had torn both of his biceps, and that's why his peaks were so crazy.
It's possible.
Yeah, maybe it contributed to it.
Well, you know what happens. It would peak it will peak more because you're going to shorten it.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, you don't recall that from all the muscle magazines?
I don't remember seeing articles that said it would increase your bicep peaks. Like, I can see like the title of the article being,
that's what I'm saying.
Build bicep peaks like mountains.
No. I'm not saying like there was actual evidence in the article about how to get peak biceps. I'm saying there was always captions. They would be all either on the front of the magazine, or like there would be a feature like how to peak your biceps, and it would be like an article about like.
Yeah, I can remember like being referred to as bicep peaks a lot, but just not exercises that targeted a bicep peak.
Yeah, they used to do that shit.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, they used to do that in the magazines. I remember that. Have any of you guys been with a midget, or would you? I got to hear this, Mike. Tell the truth.
Would I?
No, have you been?
Tell the truth.
Be honest. Be honest. He's got a grin on his face.
No.
He's like, maybe.
You ever tossed a midget?
He's not going to tell you.
How are we defining? Like, how short are we talking?
Well, what's a midget considered?
Well, they're small people.
Like, are we talking about people with dwarfism, or?
Yeah, that's what I interpret.
Really short
dwarf,
person.
You only need to be under 5 foot at a certain age, right?
I think it's an actual condition.
4 feet.
It's just like you got to fit into a bar.
Dwarfism is generally defined as an adult height.
I think it's like an actual condition that you have. I don't think it's just because you can fit under.
But a certain height makes you considered a dwarf. Yes.
Would you guys stop for a second?
Please? I know the answer.
Jesus Christ. Dwarfism is generally defined as an adult height of 4 feet 10 inches or less, the average adult height among people with dwarfism is 4 feet.
So why they
No.
come up with 4'10"?
So yes,
Like, why
Paul,
that
it
number?
is considered an actual height.
But why that? Why 4'10"?
But my question is to you is why did you say it like you knew what you're fucking talking about when you did?
I just assume that there couldn't be like a standard for it. Like it's just
You said that there's a bar, like a standardized bar. Like they have to limbo under it. Like if you can walk under that bar, you're a midget. If you have to limbo it, you're fucking.
It's like those amusement parks. If you're under this height, you can't come on the ride.
Yeah, you have to walk under it.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Do you think Mr. O should travel to different countries as it once did? No, let's not do that. Talk about the top 3 qualifying for next year's O. Oh, we already talked about that. Let me get out of this one. Go to a different one. Way back.
Here's a question: do you think Nick Walker gets a special invite next year?
Well, that is a good question. No, I don't, but I wouldn't be upset if they gave him one.
I'd like to see him run it though, just because I like to see the guys compete. So I'd like to see Nick do a qualifier.
I understand people making that statement, but injuries are literally part of every single sport and every part of bodybuilding. And I don't think if guys are getting hurt, we should start extending special invites. Nick is more than capable of winning basically every single fucking show that there is.
True.
I think if we start doing this, like you think in the Olympics, if someone qualifies in a track event or a fucking soccer or something, and then they hurt themselves close to thing, that they get another qualification for the next Olympics? Of course not. You have to requalify, just like Nick should.
Yeah.
If they did, would I be upset about it? Like I've been the past with special invites? No, I like Nick, and I think whatever, fuck it. I mean, he would have won the show anyways, but that's also the same reason why he should just do a show and win it and collect a title.
Question, since we didn't talk about this, and we should real quick. How would have Nick done had he done the show?
Fuck.
It's so hard to say.
Honestly, it wouldn't have been out of the question for Nick to win that show. No.
I kind of feel that way too.
Yeah. I think he would have held his own from the back with Derek more than anybody else in that lineup. And I think he also would have been overwhelming from Derek, like the front, in the same sense that Hottie was. I think his front to back thickness and the side chest would have been very hard for Derek to handle. I think some of Derek's weaker poses, like I don't love his abs and thighs, and I think Nick, it's not his best pose, but he still has a lot more development there. So I think there's and his most muscular would be very overwhelming. I think that would have been a close one for sure.
So if Nick showed up like the Arnold, I think Derek and Hottie still would have beat him. Maybe Samson would have beat him as well. I think if Nick showed up with the extra muscle that he was showing in his photos leading up, then I think it might have been tough for anybody to beat him, only because he would have had front to back conditioning, which Derek and Hottie
and all the muscle in the world.
Derek and Hottie both didn't have. He would have had just as much muscle as both of them,
if not more.
And if they weren't going for perfect balance by picking Derek, then that doesn't exclude Nick either.
Yeah, I think this show would have lended itself for Nick to do well because of the way it fell.
Seeing as who they picked first and second, I think a lot of it was based on conditioning. Yeah. And
Nick was in fucking really good shape.
Nick would have been conditioned all the way around.
Yeah.
Not front, not just the front, not just the back. He would have been peeled everywhere. So
that would be the question for this Olympia. What if?
Imagine, and I'm not saying this to flame anybody, but imagine Nick never wins an Olympia and this would have been the one. That would suck.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know.
But yep. I don't think that's the case. I mean, I think my personal opinion is Nick, Samson, Derek are going to be the guys. No, not well. Hottie, I feel like
you mean the future
is closer to retirement. I feel like Samson, Derek, Nick are going to be the guys that go fucking round and around every year for a while.
Yeah, barring any unforeseen circumstances,
or barring any like crazy guys that just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, like who knows what like Good Vito ends up doing, or like some of these guys that we don't are kind of untested.
Yeah.
Those three are going to be the guys for a while.
Quentin.
Andrew, Quentin can step into. Andrew if he fills out a little more. Quentin if he gets that back up to where it needs to be. Yeah, I'm curious how Quentin's going to do. What show is he planning on doing? Anybody know? Something next year, but nobody knows.
Every year show.
I think he's doing
Detroit. Yeah.
I think he's doing Detroit.
Yeah. I heard he's doing Detroit.
Actually, yeah, I forgot he messaged me and he said he's in.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
That'd be a good draw.
And I think Nick said since he's got to requalify, he's also doing Detroit.
Might as well. Yeah, he might as well. It's gonna be a great show.
Get your tickets. Get your tickets.
All right, Paul.
DetroitProAm.com.
Yeah. No, it's just DetroitPro.com. Registration will be open within a week.
We're almost sold out. Grab your tickets now.
Yeah. Paul, lead us off with a prayer.
Okay. Let us bow our heads. Dear leader, thank you for another great weekend. This past week at Olympia was a great time. Got a chance to see everybody again. Mike's booth was awesome. I almost died a couple times. Thank you for saving my life, for keeping me alive and healthy, even though I had some panic attacks there. Got through it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just great to see everybody last weekend. It was great to get there with you guys, and I look forward to the next one. Amen.
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 Good night, boys.
Good night.
Yes.